So, good morning. It looks like Jill's running the meeting again. Belinda's, is anybody hooking Belinda in? She was participating.
She wrote a note I saw this morning, I believe it was Cheryl and you.
Okay, she did. Let's make sure we have a way
She
to.
also wrote that
She said something about teams.
that Rick has the flu. So
Oh,
everybody.
no.
Everybody's sick. Great.
I'm getting over
Oh, wait,
it.
there's an invitation from Belinda. Hold on. I need to open it on Teams. Sorry, give me one more minute. Let me just open I was so busy with workshop stuff that I spaced. Okay. Get on the web, stage webs. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
I have it here, just so you know.
Yeah, can you accept the invitation? We're just letting Belinda in here.
From the house is where we come in.
Yeah.
So I turn this around.
We just changed that.
No, I think.
Turn the camera.
So
Okay.
this-
A great one.
every guy from the
Oh, yeah,
had a
yeah,
lot- had a lot
that's
of
right,
this.
that's right, yeah.
A lot of this.
Yes, so she's got to let me know.
Updating stuff, so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Belinda, if you're on YouTube, you have to let Cheryl in. Probably me too.
She just did.
Okay.
All right.
It's like a mystery. Okay. Okay, great. So I think we're ready now. It's Monday, March 9. The time is 9:38 a.m. and I'm going to call the Venetian Community Development District Board of Supervisors meeting to order. I'm going to do the roll call. Supervisors present are Rich Goodman, Cindy Sneezek, Jill Pizarnik, Cheryl Herman Tarana, Ken Smaha. We also have District Council Andy Cohen and River Club General Manager Greg Barker present. Field Manager Keith Livermore is present. It looks like we have Spencer from Rosetta present, and we also have audience members present. So the next item on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It's glary over
Yeah.
I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is the public comment. The first person on the list is Raisa Oyevetsky.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
3
I
minutes.
only came here because
Yes.
it was an unfortunate incident happened with me and the employee at the front desk. We have online system that being changed recently. The upgrades or updates require 2 steps of identification, and it didn't work because of the employee's data never was updated. Anyway, for 5 days, because nobody answered the phone, I came to talk to front desk. The guy, Jordan, he was very nice. I tried to explain to him that I know this is my bread and butter, making system for 40 years. And I tried to explain to him a problem. He said, he needed to contact somebody like this software company, but nobody did. Then he was replaced by Alexandra, who just kind of didn't want to listen to me. Every time I tried to explain to her she needs to contact somebody who knows this, she never did. Finally, she resorted to a racial slur by calling me a literate immigrant who doesn't understand English. And finally, the next time we stopped by, my husband and I, she just ran off. And she went and got Mr. Barker. Mr. Barker only was in the middle of the meetings. He got her side of the story, and he just, I don't know, finally he probably called this company. The system is working now. The next day it started to work. The second step was removed, but Mr. Barker sent me email saying that I'm going to be classified on this meeting. That is why I am here. Well, he said that well, I don't want to exaggerate, but like my behavior would be, I never was disrespectful to her. You were there. I noticed you in the corridor, but you saw the end of the story. You saw her refusing for 5 days to contact somebody to correct this problem, and I told her what the problem was. She didn't want to listen, and she didn't find any problem. It was the corrupted data on people's, probably I was not the only one who had this problem. And I could tell anyone who would ask, but nobody asked. She just resorted to a racial slur, implying that I am a literate immigrant. And this is unacceptable, sir, because she has some kind of mental problem of being
So
afraid
you
of
need to,
people.
Raisa, you
No,
need to,
I'm
no,
not a
no,
psychiatrist.
let's just.
Yes, but
You-
this
no,
is,
Raisa,
this
listen
should
to what I'm
not be
saying,
this
please.
way.
You
Okay,
don't have a right to insult people in this forum, okay?
I'm
Let's
sorry.
keep- You don't have a right to insult anyone in the forum.
Well,
Let's keep
she
it
just
clean.
insulted me.
We're done.
She insulted and
Yeah, we're
refused
done.
refused to
Thank you, we
do
have your
what she's
email.
supposed to
Thank
do.
you for your email.
That's why I'm here.
Thank you, we have your
Yeah.
email, we're done.
I just canceled my doctor's appointment because
Okay.
my blood
Okay,
pressure
we have your
probably would
email.
go over
Thanks.
the roof.
Thank
But
you.
I was
Thank you, we're
insulted.
done.
That's why we talked
Next, Raisa,
first.
we're
done.
done.
The way we
Thank
did.
you.
Sorry.
Thank you.
All right, next person on the agenda is Diana Waters.
Hi, I'm just a little concerned, and it may be something that you've already attended to, but I thought the original assessment part of the landscaping was to replace trees. And when I exit here, there's, through the gate, and there's a big area there that just, we never bothered, or not bothered, but we did replace the trees. Which brought me to another subject. I was introducing you to my daughter because this was her suggestion. She bought a house on Treviso and she has an advertising company that does just national accounts. She's not looking for any business. But the suggestion about the gate, which I don't know how far you are with updating the gate, but she did a little homework and she said that the most exclusive country clubs are hidden. You don't know what's in there. In other words, Aria's big wall and their fountain and everything is not what exclusive country clubs have. And our gate is far enough in that we've already created that little bit of elusiveness. But if we did some more plantings rather than more walls and statues and things like that, and I thought, you know what, that's an idea that maybe is fresh. That the fact that you don't quite know what's in there makes it a little more exclusive. It might be an easier issue for us to handle than creating new fountains or whatever. So
That's amazing.
just wanted to put it out there, and I didn't know how far you were with your, and if we had put trees in 3 years ago when we did the assessment, they'd be taller by now. Thank you.
I got shorter. Yes, yeah, I'll get to that.
Okay,
Thank you
I'm
for
sorry.
reminding me, though, I got it. Thank you a lot for that, Diana. Also, and I'll send you a version of this. Next speaker is Darlene Schimberg.
Good morning, everybody. I wanted to just say that I think the phone system here has gotten so much better, but I do see people's frustration on phones not getting answered and not getting a call back. That's the only thing I've heard. It's not that the phone system isn't better, because it's 100% better from what Greg did, but people are still not getting their calls back. Also, I don't know if everybody noticed, but on the billing statements, it still has Kat's number to call if there's a problem with their, I'm sure you know that. It's been fixed, okay, so that's been fixed. One of the other things I've noticed is we have Juniper now as our landscaper. I have to be honest with you, I really don't see any improvement from when we had LMP. I mean, they disappear for weeks and then all of a sudden they show up again. As far as suggestions for new plantings or landscaping or anything, I like him. I mean, he seems to know more than anybody else. When I listened to him at the last meeting, I felt confident in the fact that he knows what he's talking about, and that we would probably get maybe better results if we incorporated him into the planning of our landscaping. I'm not sure that can happen. I don't know, because I know he's the Rosetta representative in that, but just an idea of something that might work better. And then the last thing I just want to mention is I did read the Facebook, and I know that was the tail end of the workshop that I walked in on. I didn't appreciate the comments in there at all. I don't think that social media is a place to put that type of information. I think it should be brought directly to either the committee or to come to a meeting and talk about it, but don't put it on social media. But the only thing I will say is that the private events that we are having, what type of cost analysis is being done prior to the events being booked? What are we looking at as a profit analysis? I know that's a big thing for Greg. He's always cost. I mean, I know that's his forte. But I do see somewhere where I feel like we're losing out on some of these events, because we're really not charging anything anymore for anything other than the actual event itself. So I think maybe that should be looked at and rethought a little bit.
Okay, thanks.
And also, we do have guidelines of who can and cannot have a private event here, and the parameters at which they can have a private event. I don't think that that's being looked at either. So just
Okay.
a little bit. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Thank you. Okay, appreciate it. And last we have Barbara Silkworth. Good morning, Barbara.
Good morning. First of all, this is again, a POA report, not a Barbara report per se. Cheryl, thank you for coming to our meetings, sitting through our meetings, and offering all the updates that you have. I want to mention that irrigation continues to be a problem. We appreciate the reports that we're getting from what do you call the people at the front gate now?
Privacy officer.
Privacy.
manager.
I don't know,
Privacy
officers,
people.
manager.
Privacy people, privacy, we appreciate the privacy
Gate
people
officer.
riding around and well,
Gate officer.
gate office, we appreciate the gate officers giving us the information on irrigations. We are trying to suggest to the people, if their HOA is responsible for their timers, to get that worked through. But ultimately, it is the homeowner's responsibility to know how these things work. At our meeting on the 19th, we will be reviewing some new and updated community-wide standards. One of the things that will be looked at will be an updated color palette, which will be available. It's available now in the POA office, but will be available that morning at 9 o'clock for people to look at that. There'll be some new wording on drones, and then there will just be some general cleanup language throughout the document. I want to report that the POA is financially secure and that we still have an opening for that dreaded job of being a secretary. So, and I'm doing it at the moment, so I know how difficult that gets.
Thanks, Barbara.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Before we go into committee reports, this is a procedural question for you,
Yeah,
Mandy.
we have some things to add to the agenda.
Yeah, so there are actually 3 items we were gonna add to the agenda.
So we'll be looking for a motion to amend the agenda to
Okay.
add.
So I'm gonna make a motion to amend the agenda to add 3 things. The first is a discussion on suspension of a resident.
Okay.
The second is discussion and approval to proceed for offense. Is that what we're calling it?
Yes.
On Laurel Road. And the third is discussion on a bocce work group. Bocce group.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Belinda texted me, Rich, did you have something about roof RFP?
Yeah, the roof RFP, I didn't get in, I didn't even get a chance to look.
Okay, all right, so there's a 4th one then, so
Okay,
that's
so
the roof RFP.
So, board, where, do we want to just add these all under business items?
Yes, let's add them under business items. I think we'll be able to get through A, B, and C quickly, so we'll just make
Make
these
them
C, D, E.
DEF.
Right,
D, E, F,
right,
G.
D, E, F, G, yeah,
Okay.
F, and G, okay, all right, yeah. So
So
I
make a
made that
motion,
motion to
Madam
add those
Chair.
4 items.
A second.
Yeah,
Are there any other items for it, or do we cover it?
That's it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you.
And 4 items. Okay, great. So the next item on the agenda is the committee reports. I know we got 2 reports that I saw. I don't know if we got landscape or you were gonna do. the
I sent
landscape.
it, I was a day late and $1 short, so, I know, because I sent it to Elise and then I thought it was gonna get in and it didn't. Okay,
I thought the next
so
one was
here,
gonna get
I'm
fixed.
also one of these short. so.
Okay,
Okay, that's all right.
We can
I
share.
Yeah.
that's Randy, all right,
Okay.
all right, I'll,
I'm sorry, Belinda's asked me who was the second. I know you were the first.
Rich.
I second, yes.
Yes,
I'll let her know.
okay, yeah. Since I haven't read it, so. is there
Let
anything we
me,
need to know?
because it's
Okay.
new, let me do a quick review, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Bullet points from landscape committee. Oops, hit the wrong one. Okay. Greg has signed an agreement with Juniper to do the pots out back, and I think they're getting done shortly.
It started on Friday.
Started on Friday, so that will be in place. At the last landscape committee, 6 members of the management team, including the Southwest Regional Director from Juniper, showed up to explain what happened with Andrew. We now have a new account manager, which is Sergio. Sergio's been on property 3 times a week minimum, because I've met with him many of those times. And he's also spent a lot of time with Spencer, which we'll hear in Spencer's report. Next flower rotation is coming up. Just waiting for the flowers to be available. It's been signed. It'll be pink and purple, Vinca and Penta, so it'll be a little staggered. The cul-de-sac process is back in place, and Juniper we've signed the invoice for that. That's all set to go. And they should be done by the end of April in replacing all of the cul-de-sacs. And it's also very clear that before they replace, they check irrigation, because that's my problem. The new landscape design, Brian was on site with landscape committee last Thursday, and we spent several hours with him. We actually walked the property in the front. He's updating his plan with the comments that were made. That includes a lot more trees, and especially the mass trees that will come down the center island and provide more of a theme. And then we'll continue. It should look, everybody was really happy with what we came away with. So he's going to do that update, and then we'll go from there. And we'll also run it by Spencer, because I think that's a great idea, since we will have some maintenance issues. So that's it.
Thank you. Cool.
thank you.
All righty. Does anybody have anything on either the other reports? I see we have Mark here, and we also have Byron here.
Yeah,
So, anybody have any questions for either of those on the rackets or on reserves?
I just want to say that Matt really has his hands full right now.
Yeah.
He's juggling a lot with the bocce, the rackets, and the fitness, even though it's not permanent yet. So he's got a lot going on there. And other than that, I think, again, he is doing an outstanding job. He is just absolutely fabulous. He was truly a great find. I have nothing but wonderful things to say.
Yeah.
I agree.
I agree. Great. Okay, so nothing on either one of those reports then?
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to move into staff reports. Landscaping inspection services, Spencer?
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
The inspection was carried out last Thursday. The report is not produced yet. You should have it, I think, Wednesday. It'll come to you. I spent about 4 hours with Sergio, your new account manager. I could say I did come away, it was a good meeting. It was a very good meeting. He certainly has a grip on the property in a way that Andrew didn't. He explained to me that about 4 years ago, he was the account manager here. And so he already knew the property before he came in. With the LMP mix-up, he was taken out, and then now he's back, but he's an LMP holdover, which in the world of landscaping, if you're able to survive that kind of transition and be with the company that long, that is a very good indicator of the value you bring to the company. It's a very high turnover. A case like Andrew is not uncommon at all. It's an extremely stressful job, and people find a little bit, $1 more or whatever somewhere else, and they run off. We walked the entire property, many of the lakes, spent a lot of time on Laurel Road, spent a lot of time on Veneto and around the clubhouse and all the roundabouts. The property looks a lot better. A lot of the comments I gave to him were taken care of either prior to me getting there in real time, or he had preset dates for things he was anticipating me to ask about. These are all good signs for his leadership. That doesn't change any of the metrics we want to look for. I was very transparent with him about my recommendations to the board and my feeling on the bidding. I asked him questions about margin. Do you feel like this is a profitable job? Do you think that it's sustainable at this rate? And he answered in the affirmative. He did kind of indicate that it is with the assumption that he can continue to sell enhancements that would make the job,
True for all landscape.
That's true for all landscape companies, and it's a business decision on your end. How do you want to manage it? Do you want to keep the low monthly rate, but then the kind of, dished out proposal, and they kind of need that to keep going? Or do you want to raise the monthly rate and, spend less on enhancements? That's kind of the formula you would have to work out on how you want to run things. But he did feel very confident that right now his margins all look solid for the property, and he feels he can continue that. I also inquired if Juniper was, reducing hours spent on the job, and he said no, that keeping the property is very important to them and himself personally. And the areas that were still an issue at the time of our visit was soft edging around certain beds, kind of the maintenance of the monument signs. It's kind of, there's not a lot of landscaping around the maintenance of the monument signs, so it doesn't really catch your eye. But I explained to him they could catch your eye if they had crisp lines around them and some fresh material. I suggested him to propose the removal of the foxtail ferns from each monument and put something a little better there. They're aging out. It's just, it's a design from 20 years ago, kind of vibe. So those are the highlights of the meeting. And I concur, more trees are always better. And other than that, everyone, thank you for the positive comments. I hope I continue to make you happy. Is there any other questions for me?
I don't think so. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's always really helpful. Thank you,
Yes.
Spencer.
Yeah, and if you guys would like some, help, myself and John Toberg. John Toberg is by trade a landscape architect.
Yeah.
And he helps a lot with design for other communities too. So we're always happy to help. It's not a conflict of interest. It's just something we have to discuss.
Great, cool.
Thank you.
Spencer. Appreciate it. Next time on the agenda is district engineer. I know, unfortunately, gosh, I hope Blake is okay. He's got the,
Then he has the flu.
so much.
Belinda sent an email.
Oh,
I think he said in his email that he was gonna be out in the community when he felt up to it to check on, I guess, striping done or something like that. Some work that had been done.
He's been given a whole list of new sidewalks.
Yes.
yeah,
And so he has both lists
okay.
and,
Nancy
So-
was busy.
so he will put those on the,
Okay.
Purple dots.
Yes.
Nancy, are you the purple dots?
Blue.
Blue, okay.
Yeah, okay. So it sounds like Rick knows.
Yeah,
what he has to do.
that's exactly what he said. I'll be down when I can to review the painted curbs and sidewalk.
Oh, okay, great. No, that's great. Unfortunately, every time we wait on this, I find more things.
Yeah, same here.
It's a bit crazy, but that's okay. So next up is district council. I know we have a few things
We
here.
do have a few things. Obviously, we've got some agenda items and we'll talk about those.
Sure.
But things that aren't on the agenda. The first is, from the last meeting, there were a couple of contracts that needed to be done. I
Yeah.
sent those over the weekend.
Yeah,
Green tops, I copied you, Keith. I know at the meeting you talked about adding 5 trees.
it's already been done, but there's no cost.
Okay, so we put that in the contract.
Yes.
Good. And the sod contract, we are still looking for the maintenance agreement, if one exists, with regards to Laurel.
Thank you.
So that's on our
I
list.
don't think.
Dan, it may not. Dan is checking with the city. We've checked our records. I know Belinda has checked her records. So we'll see what, if anything, exists in that regard.
Thank you.
The other item is, we need to get back to, if the board wants, sunshine presentation for committee, that
I
sort of
had that for you too.
fell at the
Yeah.
wayside, my fault, sorry.
No.
When is the board have an interest in doing that? When do you want to try and do it? I'm obviously still glad to provide whatever assistance I can.
I think we need to do it.
I agree
I
with
mean,
you. I
I-
think we should do it at least once a year, and it's a little delayed, but I still think we should do it.
Do we want to do it at, I know this, I've since learned that the second meeting of the month
Right.
is now a workshop, so do you want to do it at the first April meeting?
Why not? Yeah, so we do it concurrently with the workshop, I guess, for the board.
So, right, I'd be here at, well, I'll be here whatever time
Right.
you tell me, but I could be here at 8:30 or 9:30, whichever.
So then we would do that on April, that's Monday, April
6,
Oh, no, that's Easter Monday. It's the 13th.
it's the 13th.
Yeah.
Oh, correct, yes, second.
Okay, so we do sunshine April 13th.
Would you want me to do it at 8:30 or 9:30? I'm glad to do it.
The board meeting's at 9:30, so 8:30,
Yeah.
probably while your workshop is going on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I
should get
think
here till
it's,
10:30 unless, like, today was special.
um,
But I'm glad to do either.
why don't we just, I mean, I don't have any problem with it being done at the same time. I think we probably all know sunshine, so if Andy does it at 8:30, in case, I hate to ace anybody out if they wanted to do public comment.
Okay, so do
Something
it at
like that.
8:30.
You all right with that? Okay.
April 13th at 8:30.
Yeah,
I'll work with Belinda to make sure they
Okay.
push out and keep, to make sure they push out an email again.
okay, that's great. That's super. Thank you for that.
And then the other item is that, Rich sent out a memo that both he and I got at the end of last week. Been working with Mike Prohidney, who's the litigation counsel. And, not surprising, I guess I'll just say, we haven't received any response from Vesta to any of the correspondence that Mike has been sending. So, the next move, if the board's so inclined, is some type of formal action. Mike lays out, at least initially, what he would be planning to file. But obviously, per previous discussion, we wanted to go over this with the board and see what direction you may want to take. So, Rich, I don't know if there's anything you want to add.
I don't want to, it's just, I was really scouring Jonas's financials and I found even more craziness. So there's even a few more things that are just, so there's just so many things that are just bizarre. I think we really need to understand the depths of what really transpired. But at the same time, we also need our records, so we have
Right.
our records.
Right,
To me, this is a lot about, we need our records.
that's where I was
Yeah.
going, yes.
So, yeah, so we need a,
We
Yes.
so,
can't quantify the rest.
And that's why
Right.
Mike is sort
Right.
of, if you Fred's had the opportunity to read the memo,
Yeah.
that would be the start of saying, we need our records before, and yes, there's some weird stuff going on, okay? But yes, we need our records so that we can quantify what, if anything, needs to be pursued.
or at least determine that there's no more craziness, but
Did he give an estimate on how, this segment of this process, how much it will cost?
That's what I was
He
know.
did not. We certainly can discuss that with him, but he did not.
I don't think, I mean, he's just writing a letter and stuff. I mean, he's just filing with the court. It depends upon how the,
Well, it's more than writing a letter.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
filing the
filing a
court.
lawsuit, there's hard costs absent attorney's fees, filing fees, service of process and things along those lines. So I can certainly get that from Mike.
I know I asked the question because I want to know if you knew, but I don't think we have a choice. We have to have our records. So regardless of what else we do, I think we have to do this.
And,
Yes.
and I don't want to speak for Rich, but I think that, Mike's been very reasonable with us and been doing good work and very, responsive to what we've needed so far.
and,
So I'm comfortable
and
with
he gets all the issues.
Okay.
Okay.
So are you looking for approval to do all of which is in section 7? The proposed board action?
Yes. Yes, I believe that would be sufficient.
You want to do all of it.
if you're so inclined. And obviously, you'd only take whatever steps were necessary, but yes.
Yeah, it seems reasonable. I
I'm
guess
comfortable with
the
that.
question I had, I'm recalling when we first started to talk about this, and, you know, you said, and rightly so, that, you know, you don't file a lawsuit lightly. So, you know, there's the question of what taking action on number 7 would cost, but then there's the sort of anticipated onward cost of, okay, now we've crossed the Rubicon. You know, what are we talking about here? So I guess that's, and obviously you can't give us an estimate for that, but that's equally something that's in the back of my mind along with what
We should
Cheryl
know.
has. You should know.
Should have somebody.
You should know.
I mean, first of all, it's your decision, and you can decide if you want to wait, if you want to, that's a fine decision. If you decide that you do want to proceed forward, I'll definitely be asking for, you know, some estimates.
But also,
of
Mike,
cost.
he did mention that the way we're going is, there's also attorney's fees
Right.
that are due us.
Right.
And the way that we set this up, because they have not complied, there's a chance of triple damages. Should we?
Well, there's two things that you just intermix there a little bit. So, in Florida, we've discussed this in other issues, but you start with the premise that you do not get your attorney's fees unless there is a statutory provision, like a landlord-tenant matter. There is a weird offer of judgment, complicated litigation issue that sometimes allows you to get it. And the third basis is a contractual provision, which we do have a prevailing party attorney's fees provision in the management agreement. So it's not guaranteed that you'll get them, but potential to be able to recover your attorney's fees as a prevailing party. So first you said attorney's fees, and oh, right, and then you mentioned the second item, which is treble damages are potential for recovery if you are successful with a civil theft claim.
Okay.
So if we were successful with a civil theft claim, we could potentially recover not necessarily attorney's fees, but treble
I
damages.
see. Okay.
And so that's another thing that is in the mix.
Yeah. 'Cause, personally, I feel if we wait too long to do anything, it seems like we don't feel strongly about it, and I
Right.
think. at least
I think more than that, there may
personally,
not be any records if we wait too long.
Yeah.
I mean, I would like to get started.
Well, they did a preservation of records.
I understand
To me,
that.
But
You have trust issues, do you?
Well, we did, I mean, we have exhausted the letter writing
We have.
campaign.
You're
So,
right.
you'll know, I mean, I said it in minutes that we felt that was an initial step that we needed to take for a number of reasons. One is maybe be successful. Two is it's certainly helpful when you're standing in front of a judge to explain the steps that you've taken to date. So, you know, I wrote a couple letters. We had the one letter from Darren Quam in the middle there. And now Mike has written his letter. There's just been zero response. So we have crossed a threshold there, Jill, where we need to make a decision.
Yeah.
Do you need a motion to proceed?
We will.
So getting back to 7,
Yes.
7.1, 7.2, are we yet in a position for 7.3, 7.4? Or don't we need the records first?
Well, 7.4 we are. That's always, you know, we always ask for whatever other legal relief the court may enter. But 7.3, I'm not sure what Mike's plan is there. He might plead something in the alternative, but you're correct. Until we know, we have the records to know what the extent, if any, of what our damages are. We don't have a good handle on that. Rich has done tremendous amount of work, and we have a lot of information, but we really don't have it ratcheted down, and that's why we need the records.
So what are we asking for at this point?
I think it would be, if the board so inclined, a motion to authorize, exactly as said here, authorize counsel to prepare, file an action against Vesta seeking the issues outlined in 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, and 7.4. And I will tell you separately at the same time, I will try and get some budgetary estimates from Mike as well.
Okay.
I make that motion.
Second.
Is there any other discussion? All right, all in favor? Okay, I'll let Mike know. Obviously, Rich, I'll keep you in the loop. And I'll try and get some, if he can, provide any sort of calculations for him.
Yeah, and listen, thanks again.
Yes, thank you,
Really
Rich.
sincerely, I know how much work you've done. I probably don't know how much you've done.
Right.
So you see it.
And probably thank you, Terry, too.
Yes.
Really appreciate
You know,
how
what,
much.
at the workshop, I will bring some stuff. Well, no, well, if I bring it to the workshop, is that public?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah. Let's see where this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but appreciate it.
Belinda's texting me, asking about the record storage review.
Oh, the
Yeah,
Fort
we
Myers
still
thing.
have stuff.
That's number
Yeah.
one on my agenda.
Yeah.
Okay, okay, cool.
So do we want to wait or do we want to just do that now?
We could do.
I just had, what I was gonna bring up is I have the contract for them. I got an email from Mr. Greer in the last day or two addressed to me and Rich. Here's the contract. It's basically $185 a month. We're not clear, or I'm not clear on what exactly is in vital records. I think this was secured some time ago.
Mhm.
But I think this is a Rich and an Andy, how Rich and I left it. The board was gonna consult with you, Andy, to find out what the directive is on the vital records storage.
Yeah, these are, from what Vital Records told me, these are,
The old,
they
old stuff, right?
predates Vesta.
So it's Icon.
Yes, the last time that anybody did it was like 2000, it was 2021 or something like that. And
Okay.
it's just been sitting there since. 4 years ago, it was $85 a month, or whatever, it's now $185 a month, so it's exponentially increasing. There's a minimum storage charge, we're not using anywhere near the minimum, but I know you had said that there might be records in there that we must, there's probably records in there for financial reasons, we have to maintain, there might be CDD documents in there that have to be
Well,
maintained forever.
regardless
We don't
of the
even know.
whole VESTA discussion, as a CDD, you have certain records retention requirements. There's a whole long list. It's not uniform. It's not like everything is 7 years or something like that. I mean, bond documents are like forever, and other things are, fit into this list in terms of a couple years, 1 year, whatever it may be. So we need to figure out what's there.
The contract, it's a month.
It's right here. Yes, and they're looking for us to re-up and re-sign.
So this is the physical retention, right, Greg?
Yeah, Rich.
Yes.
Is in anywhere in that contract, does it talk about how we could digitize this?
We don't even know what's in there.
No, I know that, but I'm just saying, is there an opportunity to digitize it? And just remove the
Do you
physicalness
know how
of
much
it?
it would cost?
I don't know, that's what I'm asking.
It's 85 boxes.
Wouldn't we want to see what we can get rid of?
That's what I'm saying, we would want to see what's there before we start digitizing. We could be digitizing.
Digitizing something that you can pitch.
Yeah,
Okay,
Does this contract allow us to cancel at any time, or is it locking us in for 6 years?
They're just looking for a signature now to re-up the contract. I think the contract is currently expired. I brought it so everybody could review it, and I can make copies if you'd like.
yeah, if it's month by month, I think we should just sign it.
I agree.
Just
I
sign it
agree.
until we
I agree.
figure out who's gonna go there, or until we figure out how we're gonna go through that.
But Linda is saying that because the records are in Fort Myers, she or some of her staff could spend some time reviewing them, but it would be outside of her scope.
correct.
Right, understood.
That's why I'm asking about the cost of digitizing versus the cost of analyzing all the documents.
It's gonna be cheaper probably for
No,
her.
but
staff.
Will it be cheaper for her to just go through and do it? I mean, that's why I
At
asked
the
the
very least,
question.
I mean, I haven't seen any of it, obviously, but
Yeah.
it may be worth spending a couple hours to
Okay.
see what's there
Okay,
before you start
Right.
digitizing or storing or whatever you're doing.
Mhm.
It may be
Yeah.
a bunch of nothingness, it might be something significant.
She could probably do the most overall effective.
yeah, she
efficient
can be
audit.
effective.
I mean, it could be,
And if
it
there
could be
are
a whole
things
bunch
that
of
need-
BBOs and things like
Yeah.
that.
Sure, meaningless.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
month to month?
I don't, it's on page 4 where it talks about the.
We should be.
I think, you want me to look at that?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll take this and take a look at it.
Yeah,
and
that'd be
see.
great. And
Just
then-
make sure we're not tied into anything.
Yeah, we're not tied in, so I agree.
And if
Then I
we
can
are,
decide.
Because if you cut it in half,
maybe
you
you move the other 40 boxes.
exactly.
No, it's a
Will we have
minimum,
a-
it's a minimum fee. We're not even using the full amount, they have a minimum rate.
Mhm.
All right,
it's-
so if it's something that we have to be locked into, then maybe we need to look at another option.
But if it's month to month,
Right,
that gives Belinda time to get down there. Maybe she can mark boxes that she doesn't think we need to keep.
Yeah,
Belinda says she's muted by you, Cheryl. And she
Man,
can speak if she needs.
But it doesn't
It's
even,
not muted.
like going through, but see, here's the
My
problem.
mic is open.
Going through those boxes doesn't solve anything. Because we still, if we get rid of half of them, we still have to keep the other half.
And it's open.
We can move the other half to
let me see if I,
other existing storage, we have space, correct?
No, well, I don't know if you want to move real official documents to a local storage location. That's not necessarily the best thing to do. And right now, we don't have, that locker's full, and vital records is probably costing us less money than a storage locker.
So, Board, if I could, then I think that at this point, if you want to have our office take a look at what the contractual issues are, and if you'll authorize Belinda to spend maybe, for her staff, to spend a couple hours to wrap their arms around what's there, maybe we go from there, because we're just
Yes,
sort of all guessing at the moment. Okay. I'll take care of that. Okay.
Thank you.
Andy, would you like me to send that contract to you digitally?
Sure. Either one. I mean, I've got the print copy. I'll take both though. Thank you.
okay.
Okay,
1 to 2 months, okay,
got it.
alrighty.
That's all I had on, other than those agenda items. I'm glad to answer any questions.
Go ahead.
I've got one.
Yes.
I've been communicating some with Hampton, and Greg answered back that he's been, first he's sending all of the information requested to everybody on the board, and then also then conversing with Jill as she's the liaison. As Jill is being the liaison, is that her responsibility to interface with my responsibilities on the board, or how does that work?
Okay. So, you know, as a board member, any board member, I think has the opportunity, I'll say, to be able to request records and things along those lines, certainly. We do have liaisons for these certain things, whether it's to liaison with Hampton or sports, whatever it may be, and that's for a reason. So it's trying to be helpful not only to residents that might have questions, but to staff as well. So, so I think there's a little intermix there of what you said, Rich. I do think that board members have the opportunity and the right to request reports and things along those lines without having to go through other board members. In fact, we don't want to go through other board members and create potential sunshine issues.
Right.
I think that we do need to be cognizant of for staff is direction, because if Cindy is telling Greg do X and Cheryl's telling Greg do Y, then Greg's like, which is it? So, so those are the types of issues I think. we need to
Telling
be
is different, telling is a different, that's a liaison thing, it's a telling, which is why we have a liaison, it's a, direction, but requesting and asking is different than telling, so.
Well, I may be able to clarify something here, because I am aware through Greg, you were looking for some budget stuff, and I think there was some confusion, potentially confusion, either by Jamie or somewhere else about where the official budget resided. And because I was the initial interface, going all the way back to when, they pitched the business, and then they actually bid the business, and then they prepared a budget. There was a question on, somehow there was a feeling that I had the official budget. So I think that's where the question was coming.
Which makes sense, but there was another question, there was another thing that I asked for, not even budget related, that the comment came back, well, I'm gonna, send every time you ask something, I'm gonna send it to all the board members, and I'm also gonna advise with Jill. So it's like, I felt I was being tattled on.
No.
The only comment that I would make is that I would limit the volume of data that we are asking Hampton to prepare for us, in terms of, like, what are we really gaining in it for decision-making processes? And I'm thinking of, like, how granular do we need to go? Do we need to have Hampton preparing a 100-page list of, I'm just gonna say payroll records with detailed hourly rates and all that kind of stuff. That to me is an operational decision. We should be looking at the top line P&L and saying, please explain this variance to us. So that's my only concern, Rich. I have no issues with the reporting and all that kind of stuff. It's where are we asking Hampton to spend their calories and their energy? Do we want them running the business to the best knowledge that they can? Or do we want them running reports so we can scrutinize how they're running the business? I think we should be, as a professional and an accountant, to me, I'm asking for top line variance. You give me the explanation, Greg. I'm not gonna ask for those. I would never have asked for those detailed records from my staff. I would ask them to explain it to me.
Agreed.
I agree with what you said, and
Well, it's been.
we start at the top line and then drill down.
Yes.
As warranted. We give them leeway, they've got a budget, the official budget, by the way, resides with Belinda and Rosetta that was filed with the state. We have some detail behind that, which was provided by Vesta in the budget process. If you don't have that, I can send it to you, by department. But unless there's a reason to be drilling down that they can't explain to us, variances or why they're off budget, materially in some areas, I don't know why we'd be going down into the operational side of it. That's what they get paid to do, unless we suspect that there's something wrong and they can't explain it.
Right. I'd rather have them telling me why there's an issue than having them run reports for me so I can see why the issue exists.
Well, it's been 2 weeks now, so I don't have an answer to the question, and I still don't have the reports that justify anything. And it's been 2 weeks, so.
What are you trying to justify?
Yeah.
Back house labor went to $41,000. Instead of with a budget of 30
And I think,
for the month, and then I understand it's the accounting issue, how they do some of their accounting, and that and that theoretically could make sense, but I can't figure out. It still doesn't justify why, if the accounting went up, then front of house labor should have gone up too.
I don't think there's a breakdown.
We don't
between front and
budget,
back.
we never budgeted
Budgets.
back.
No, there were
up front.
there's
That's something.
assumptions.
Yeah, there's assumptions.
There's assumptions, but not.
They're
not-
managing that way so they can see where things are happening for their own benefit. It was never budgeted that way.
And we asked last time when this question came up, and I think that the answer that I remember was, there's overtime in back of house because they're short. And front of house is now, actually, according to last night, now fully staffed. I talked to Luciano. And they're doubling up because they have to train the new staff. And so we've got expense for training, which is part of the budget. And then back of house has got overtime because I think you still have 2 empty positions back there.
But then if you looked at the reports that they sent, one report said labor costs for the month was $20,000 for back of house, and one said $30,000 for back of house. I'm trying to understand how to have 2 reports for the same time period with the $10,000 variance between the 2, and neither one of them gets me to the $41,000 that's actually in the financials. I'm just trying to.
When the financials would be,
It's the only one that matters.
it's the only
Yeah,
one that
the only
matters.
one that matters.
But I'm trying, how did we get to 41,000? I'm just trying
But
to,
see,
how did we get to $41,000?
And I think the issue is what you asked for. Yeah, I don't,
Is overall labor over budget materially or under budget? The answer is they're under budget.
Yeah.
So I don't know why we need to be line item managing
Because
every sub line.
because of something.
We give them a budget to operate under. If they're operating under it, it just doesn't seem like.
Vesta was output into their budget too, and I'm not putting that anywhere near that. But if you see something that's odd, you look at it and try to understand it. It may be very valid, and I'm not saying it's not valid. I'm just trying to understand.
There should be an explanation of it.
Yes.
and it's better to say to Greg, show me the reports that show me this 41,000 so I can understand it. But to just,
That's
let
different.
me finish, but just to request reports and say, I want back of house labor, I want I don't know what you requested, or whatever you requested might not be getting to the answer because he doesn't know what you're looking for. Better to sit down and go, hey, is $41,000 the right number? And if it's under budget, then, that's a whole nother issue of why do we even need to dive in? But
I'm sorry.
let Greg answer your question, sorry.
But you might be taking a look at the actual payroll in that level of detail, and there could be accruals and reversals that are involved with the payroll. You'll never see it tied back, and that's the pieces that you need to understand, and that's what Greg has got to explain to us. And I'd rather get an explanation from him than having his staff run, 5 hours worth of reports that are ever gonna reconcile back, because you always have that variance analysis.
It's not
to
a
get
5
to
hours
where-
worth of reports.
But
It's,
you know what I'm saying? I
But if
mean,
it took him 2 hours to run the reports, that's 2 hours he
it
didn't
doesn't
spend
take
doing
2 hours.
something
It
else.
doesn't take 2 hours to run the reports.
You never know.
These reports that exist, I mean, they're there, they're payroll reports, it's there. They get them each month.
Well, because I want to just jump in, because I do want to defend Rich on his process, because, and we all have our own process about, getting to information. And I think, I think it's very fair to ask the question about back of house versus front of house. I think equally, I like the idea of us as a board being able to say, okay, well, all right, philosophically, do we need to know that, and what does it mean? Is there some kind of decision that has to be made as a result of it?
that's the other
Is
piece.
there a strategic thing that it impacts? So,
And we're
And
gonna be
that's-
doing budgets shortly.
well, yeah,
So we need
yeah,
to have an idea of what's going on. And like I said, I'm not saying there's anything wrong or malicious. I'm just trying to understand how it is as high as it is. That's all.
And you should get an explanation for that.
Yeah,
Not 50 reports,
Correct.
but an explanation.
yes.
I've gotten an explanation with 2 reports, and the reports don't make sense in comparison to the number. And the accruals and reversals don't make sense based upon how the time periods come up. I can't justify it because I don't have that information. And I'm just trying to figure out what $41,000 is. And I know there were raises, and I know there was overtime. But like I said, I'm looking at two reports that both have the same time period. One totals 20,000 and one totals 31,000, and I can't understand why they're different.
And the parameters were different of how the
Correct.
report was run.
Correct.
But I've been asking for a week, why are they different? And I can't even get an answer as to what's going
The
on.
rule set was different when the data was pulled. That's just it.
Greg would like to talk. Sorry.
And quite honestly, depending on what system it's coming from, could require different parameters to get you to the same answer.
Right. That is another big issue, yes.
Yes.
so glad I'm not an accountant.
So to somewhat answer some of your questions that you have now, I knew that the reports you were requesting weren't gonna answer the question, but you still requested them, so I still provided them to you. It did require Carol many hours to give you the summary and synopsis of the accruals and payroll and what dates, and to go back through each line item that she responded on your inquiry. There are answers to the questions of why was back of house payroll over by $10,000. First, I'll go back to the assumptions that were made built off the Vesta budget. That's assumptions with a capital A. A capital A, because there were a lot of assumptions with very little data. So during the 5 months and 9 days that Hampton has been in charge of this property, and 4 months for myself, there have been adjustments monthly on the financial reporting statement. And I think any and all questions and variances should be answered for. But the question is, should they be answered for at the board meeting and the finance committee meeting, or every day in between? So, and that's where the challenge lies, is pulling the data, pulling the reports, answering questions individually to one at a time, which I don't answer individually to one at a time, but we do address, and Amy's involved and Carol's involved. There's a bunch of people trying to answer the incremental and ongoing questions, which you have every right to have the answers to. So at a board meeting, at a finance meeting.
Well, I can't go to finance meetings.
Okay, at a board meeting then, every other week, or privately, individually with me. One of the things that I do have concern about is confidentiality. And some of the answers to the questions aren't for public knowledge, are for things that are operations-wise that we're addressing, working on. And I can answer those questions diplomatically, but they're not to be broadcast. I mean, there are answers to questions that you're asking that I don't think need to go to anybody and everybody. So that's,
But if you send them to him, they're public information.
which is why I don't
So,
send
yeah.
all of the detail in the questions
But you don't say
to
that.
you or
But
anybody.
but you didn't say that.
I'm saying it right now. Because I don't want to engage in back and forth arguing with you about what I can and could and should provide. And I also want to answer the questions that you pose, getting as many people as I can to give you as detailed of a response as you're looking for, knowing full well that the reports and the questions, the information you're requesting isn't answering the question that I think you're long-term trying to answer.
So maybe it would be a good idea, rather than to do that, Rich, is to ask the question you're trying to get to here, because that way we can make sure that we're asking for the right reports when we get to budget. Because that's right around the corner.
Yeah.
And I would rather have them focus on, here are our main areas of concern in how we're forecasting the budget.
Right.
Make sure you have the detailed reports to provide us when we're in budget so we can understand that.
It might not need to involve the whole board. I don't know that. I'm just trying to understand how we got there. And if it's a legitimate, logical explanation, it's a legitimate, logical explanation. I just can't answer the question. I can't answer the question. At this point, I don't think anybody can, other than the theoreticals, oh, there's training and there's this and there's that. I just don't see how we get there.
That's not theoretical.
That's not theoretical, that's real.
No, you're trying to understand why,
To what
why
extent?
there's a $10,000 variance.
Yeah.
And
And to what
that
extent?
should be explainable.
That should be explainable,
100%, it is.
right? You could, you.
3,000 in overtime,
Thank you.
4,000 in overlap
Yes.
of employees, and that's just good
That's
analysis.
right. That to me is, that to me is the level that we should be at. Because, and I don't, we're going into budget season, and Hamptons we don't have a fixed contract with them. And if we are burning too many of their calories at corporate office, what's gonna be their fee next year to accommodate for everything that we're asking for?
Right.
That's the other piece of the puzzle too, is that we just need to allow them to get them the number, give us the answer. Just
Well-
give us the answer.
I mean, this whole thing was, we went from, we got Jonas and everything was available to the residents, to then Bill saying, you will render whatever reports you want, to now the stuff is on off their system and we shouldn't be asking for information.
I'm not,
If that's the way it's gonna be, then I don't need to be spending my time doing this.
I don't think,
Because I don't think that's
you said
oversight.
information. I don't think we should be asking for information. I think we should be asking for explanations.
Right.
Right.
There's a distinct difference between that. Information versus explanation. And if we're not happy with the explanation that Greg is giving us, then we have the opportunity to escalate if we need to.
Well, at the meeting, we discussed the label was high at the last meeting. I didn't like the explanation. So I asked for information because I didn't like the explanation, that's all. So we did that.
What was the explanation?
You said that there was overtime and exactly what it is, overtime and overlap.
I disagree with that. I don't think I said there was overtime. There's significantly less overtime. I can offer you a handful of reasons why the back of the house labor was high. If you'd like now, or we can postpone and I can answer when the question is asked.
Go
Are
ahead.
we to Greg's report?
Okay,
Yes.
Then why don't you go ahead and answer the question?
Multiple reasons. Transition and onboarding is one. Scheduling is another. The size of the menu is another. These are things that Chef is addressing. For a long-standing time now, menus have included everything from lunch and dinner items, so it requires more people on the line than it should if you have a lunch menu and a dinner menu. Those are the, onboarding and training requires additional bodies to be back there. So instead of having one person, you'll double up on certain positions for 2 weeks at a time. Chef Brian onboarded 3 different individuals at the end of December. So he carried additional labor for that process during much of January. So the revenue was over by $10,000, which also contributes. I'm not sure the exact percentage on payroll to revenue ratio from the back of the house, but I think it's somewhere between 20 and 25%. So that's about 2,500 out of the 10. But those are the kind of things that will add up one at a time. and create an overage. But I think the biggest piece of the equation is scheduling. And Brian has looked at that. Brian and I sit down, I saw one of the comments that was made. Brian and I sit down probably twice a month and look at payroll, look at schedules. He looks at the budget. He does it next to me on my computer. Now that we're to the point where I think we have the final working financial reports broken down into what they will be finally, I'll share those with different department heads. But until we got to the point where everything is, all the buckets are lined up, all the sections are right, I sit down individually one at a time with Luciano, with Brian, with Matt, with Ray, and look at where we stand on payroll, where we stand on revenue. So that's been the process. Brian's fully aware. He's already taken some action to modify and adjust his scheduling. And those are some of the reasons that contribute.
Okay, because it's not only against the budget, it's also against last year's numbers, and it was considerably higher. So I just wanted to make sure that what was going on. Because I still don't understand how those two reports have totally different numbers, but that's another story.
Fair enough. So, and one of the things that Brian was very adamant about during the interview process with me and the onboarding process is him being woefully understaffed in the back of the house and not being able to execute expanding menus in all locations. So it's something that he has taken on. But he is addressing by reducing the size of the menus, limiting the number of menus, and taking a look at how many guys it takes on the line to execute, especially, Rich, during the day when there's a minimum number of people coming through the facility. So it's a double whammy. Not only are we carrying more labor to execute a menu that's not really being used much during the day because the lunch volume is so low. So when you have increased labor to provide a product that's not being utilized, but decreased usage, they work exactly opposite to each other.
I totally agree with that. I'm just looking against last year's numbers, and last year we had the full-blown crazy menu everywhere, all day long, so.
But we didn't have a breakout of those last year. I think that's their estimated breakout, if they're breaking it out at all. Because we
Yeah, I
didn't have
think it
prior
was an
year.
estimated breakout because I didn't see a breakout from last year, front of house versus back of the house. Maybe they tracked it on the side, but it's not something that we saw.
Never in the financials.
So I remember looking at it. I remember because I had gotten some labor numbers from Vesta.
It might have been their assumptions.
So it might have been
Like June
something.
11, 2025 or something.
And some of it may have been absorbed by contract labor because I know that's one of the things that makes it hard for me to understand is where contract labor, which they had a lot of, is allocated to.
Yeah.
And we have had zero contract labor since October 1st. No temporary labor.
We had a couple loners at Thanksgiving, but I think that was.
Yeah,
gratis.
that wasn't
That
even-
was gratis,
that was-
yeah.
When we paid them, but
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, but you didn't charge us, you just,
No, we did charge.
did you?
Yeah, they
Okay.
came
You
out of,
did, okay.
they came out of Venetian payroll.
I see,
Okay.
okay.
And it had to, just because, so that it.
Oh, I see.
Did we pay them already?
Yeah, it was
Okay.
another club. We had 4 employees.
Got
We
it.
paid each one of them
Uh-huh.
out of Venetian payroll. But because of the high revenue on November 26th, Thanksgiving Day,
Yeah.
it was completely absorbed and we still came in under the payroll revenue ratio.
Okay, so January 25, total payroll was $62,000.
January of 25. Okay.
Total payroll was $62,000 with no, I don't think it was with, no contract labor, and was $71,000 in January 26. So it went up almost $10,000
Overall labor?
overall labor. Front and
Overall,
back.
how does revenue compare? I think it's gonna be about $10,000 higher.
And does that include contract labor?
There was no contract labor in last year, January.
That's kind of hard to believe, but I'm not saying it's not true. It's
No,
just-
It was flat.
it was,
It was flat on budget. It was 16,000 higher than last year.
Revenue was in January.
Revenue.
So revenue was up 16.
Mhm.
Labor was up 10. Back of house.
that's high, because there's cost of food in there too. Just about labor.
No,
So
I-
if if labor is 10, if you're 16,
But with the overtime and cross-training and everything, I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think it's, Rich, it's not one
It's
thing.
not a big-
Yeah.
It's not one thing.
So year over year, gross profit was up 11,000,
well,
and labor was up 8,000, 9,000.
on F&B, is it?
Yeah, F&B.
I also think there's a philosophical question here, which is, what are we trying to do? Are we trying to monitor things to reduce costs? Or are we monitoring things because we're trying to get, an improvement in the overall revenue line because that means it's improved satisfaction? I do think, there's the question of, sales per employee. So I think there's also the philosophical question, which I think is important as a board. We address is the number one goal utilization or is it cost reduction?
Absolutely, because if
It
we're.
is both, but I think there's a prioritization.
Because
Utilization.
we said,
Because
Anthony said,
utilization.
everybody has agreed,
Yeah,
we can run the operation better with less of a loss.
yes,
So that's what we're out to achieve.
yes.
I mean-
But increased
Especially if you don't
utilization
want
is a critical piece of that.
And the reason I'm looking at the labor numbers is because, like I said multiple times here, our labor number last year, total labor last year included Vesta's burden. The burden is
This is just salaries and wages,
I know.
not burden.
I know, I'm saying, but if you
Burden
add,
is substantially lower.
I know, but if you add everything back together again, we're kind of flat. It really hasn't changed much. Because there's other expenses. So I'm just looking at the trends. And at the next meeting, I'm still working on trying to clean these things up and make it presentable. And I'll bring it to the next meeting. I just don't like the direction of the labor trend and the breakout of food versus alcohol trend. And what I'm thinking might happen to the sales trend once season's over. And I'm very concerned.
It's not thinking, I mean, we know that the revenue goes down.
No,
That's just,
no.
but the issue is, how is management gonna address that
Well-
on the staffing side?
That's what I need,
But that's a question that we ask, and then,
Yes.
but I think this is a good notice for what we'll be looking for during the budget
Exactly.
conversations with Carol here.
100%.
Exactly.
Okay,
Well, and Jill hit on something that's the most pertinent of all, is the goal to reduce the subsidy, or is the goal to improve the experience and have more participation from the residents?
yes.
So, well, yes. But I mean, you were to we can do both.
Utilization and
Absolutely.
satisfaction.
Utilization is most important, and
Yep, it sure is.
resident satisfaction,
Yes.
resident usage. The anomaly about this kind of industry, especially with the pricing at 52% target margin cost of sales, is the more you sell, the more it costs you.
The more you lose.
The
Yeah.
more now, we can cut into the subsidy and make the deficit smaller on a percentage basis, but you could still have a bigger subsidy
Mhm.
if revenues increase,
Sure.
because the pricing structure isn't such that revenue equates to net operating income. Revenue increases expenses, but your payroll to revenue ratio goes from, for every dollar you sell, it costs you $1.40. Now, you might go from every dollar you sell, it costs you $1.30. But if you double your dollars you sell, you lose more money. But the subsidy is lower on a percentage basis. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it's almost counterproductive to say, hey, we want to spend less money, but we want people to use the club more. Well, the only way to really do that is to do a deep dive into cost of goods, hours of operations, and expectations. Those three things affect the other numbers. So we can increase revenue and we can increase member participation, but it is going to increase the dollar value of the subsidy, but that can be offset by the gross margins that we make in selling more product. It's really, I know it sounds convoluted even saying it out loud, having spent the first part of my career in the for-profit business, but this is not.
Right.
This is for satisfaction, for experience, are you getting what you're paying for with the subsidy and the amenity? And if it's a bad experience, but at the end of the day, I can say, hey, but we only had one server on the floor, so the labor was great. Well, that's not great. That's why you have to prioritize, really, what is the priority.
So,
And go ahead.
I was just gonna say, board, I know these are all important
Timing.
discussions,
Yes.
but
Yeah, I was
may
just
wanna
looking at
try
my
and narrow
clock.
back the
Yes.
agenda.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
All right, so we were with Andy, right?
Well, we finished, well, we were finished with you, weren't we?
Unless there's any
No, I
questions.
actually
Oh.
had that question that I brought from the workshop that was from left field.
Okay.
Okay.
This one's way out there, and I'm
I'm
sure
ready.
I'm throwing it out there. So conversation came up about the Welcome Center.
Mhm.
And the Welcome Center sits, the way Ken described it, as an island within the CDD.
Okay.
Okay, the CDD property. And I know it's private, but government entities have a tendency to annex properties. Does the CDD as a special district have the opportunity to annex properties?
So let's talk about that for a minute. So the Welcome Center does not lie within the boundary of the district. It is not part of the CDD.
It is not part of the CDD, it's private property.
Well,
And,
but your house is private property, but it's part of the CDD.
oh, I see, okay.
So the question is it part of the CDD? Does it lie within the boundaries?
That's a good question.
It's, I don't believe it does. It's private, it's separate.
And it may
It's part of the
be
PUD.
They get
because,
taxed,
well, do they?
yes.
What?
Do they have a
They're
CDD
taxed on the Welcome
assessment?
Center.
Say that again?
Well, there's the Welcome.
They have a
pay-
CDD assessment.
They have a
they have an
CDD assessment.
Then it's
Yes.
most likely part of the district.
They are within the district.
Okay. Because I will tell you that this
We hear
building,
you.
the River Club, was not part of the
Right,
district.
we talked about that.
Oh,
And
so
we added it to the
that's-
district
That's
the
annexed, remember,
difference.
that's
when we,
annexed,
before,
yeah.
or I won't say before, while we bought it, one of the many things that we did was add it to the district. So yes, the CDD has the ability to expand its boundaries as
Okay.
opposed to annex, okay?
Okay.
Expand its boundaries
Okay,
around other property, okay? But it sounds like the Welcome Center is already part of the district, and we just heard Belinda confirm that it is.
okay,
And certainly if you're assessing it, I'm 99.9%
It
sure
gets
would-
partial assessment.
yeah, it's
Then
partial
it must-
assessment.
Again, I'm not looking at anything,
Mhm,
but it must be part of it.
Yeah, because not, the golf club,
That's not part of the district.
no, it's not, but the maintenance yard and the Welcome Center have separate units ascribed to them.
Like we said, this footprint, the River Club, was not
Got
part of
it,
the district.
right,
Gotcha,
So that's different.
gotcha,
We
that was
expanded the
different.
boundaries around it,
So it's private property within the district, just like our homes.
Just like your
are
home.
private property.
Okay,
exactly.
So I don't think we can take somebody's home.
I don't think we can either. All right,
That's correct, and it is assessed. If you look on page 13 of the budget, you'll see at the bottom where you can see how it's assessed.
okay. Okay, got it, thank you very much.
Sure. Yeah.
Good try.
You typically cannot assess property that lies outside of the district boundary,
Got it.
which comes
Good
up.
try.
Which comes up sometimes because you might have a community in the back of your, that you access through and you're like, well, we want to charge you for the flowers and the roads that you're driving on and stuff. But if they're not part of your district, you can't.
Gotcha,
And I've had that happen in other, we work on
okay,
different deals with the HOA and we sometimes work things out, but that is a pretty clear issue that you can't assess a property that's outside the district boundary, even if it benefits.
All right. So
Not
then we
too
can.
left field.
So then we continue with you, Greg.
Hey, Joe,
Yes,
is it okay if I just jump in for just a sec?
please.
Because I'm taking notes at the same time, so I just wanted to jump in before Greg, because I'm pretty sure he has a lot to cover.
Yes.
Cheryl, I know you got the reports on the hurricane fund.
Yes.
Is there anything that you need for us to redo? Do you want to have a conference call with Vanessa and I to redo that worksheet? I was thinking that maybe before budget time, we could probably redo it. I think because it's split up into different parts via year, it's a little confusing. So if we could do a consolidated report, I think it would work. But I wanted to talk to you first, just to be sure that you were okay with that, and maybe we can meet.
Yeah, actually, I took the reports you sent me and I put them into a hurricane assessment
Sorry,
reconciliation.
no more.
So I put all of the expenses together over, so this is 23, 24, 24, 25, 25, 26. So, if I said that right. So the paid amounts are definitely what came off of the ledger.
Okay.
So I highlighted artistry painting because I did not recall that we said that was coming out of hurricane funds, did we?
I have to go back.
A
but I
portion
believe
of
the
it
tower
was.
This
Of
is
course,
all of it. This is
not-
the whole thing.
We painted the club using hurricane, didn't we?
So I thought only partial for the repairs to the
Just the
towers.
repairs.
Yeah.
I thought it was the
There
repairs
a
only.
partial
Painting is not.
approval, but I'll go back on the minutes on that one. But
Okay.
why don't we schedule, a Teams meeting, you, Vanessa and I, Cheryl, to go over it?
Sounds good.
Send me what you prepared. I can probably prepare something myself based off of what I originally started,
Mhm.
but whatever you need, just let me know.
Okay, sounds good.
So we don't have money for trees in here.
Yeah, we do. See,
Am I looking
I
right
put
at it?
in, so what I did is we
Oh, I
have
got it.
spent,
I see
so
it.
I don't have the
Okay.
exact assessment number either after collection, blah, 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 whatever
Got it.
comes in. So I just
Yes,
estimated
I missed
137.
Yeah, yeah.
What we've actually paid so far, including all of the painting, is 737, 534.
Mhm.
I think the painting number needs to come down.
Yes,
It shouldn't have all been, it, just the repairs should have been.
that's what I thought we agreed
So-
to.
I can tell you, because actually I have I had to pull from reserves or not, as the case may be, so.
So there's about $630,000 left from the assessment, give or take, right?
630?
Yeah,
Okay.
close to that.
They all came from hurricane, according to what I was, when I
They
charged
did.
it.
But they shouldn't have.
Okay.
That's the issue, is that we have to figure out how to break up repairs,
I
because
thought
that's
that
the
was the
only
basis
thing.
we approved it under.
What?
That it was all covered by hurricane fund.
How can painting a building be
That's what I
covered by?
Because of the
Absolutely.
repairs
I
involved.
thought it was just the repairs to the towers.
We never separated them.
We did,
That was my understanding as well, the repairs of the towers, but I'll go back to the minutes just to be sure.
okay, if
Okay.
you would do that, then we can talk further about that, but bottom line, a little over $600,000. If you look at what we're doing to the front, the trees all the way down, the circle, the front here, and then the front of the River Club, I put in a guesstimate, total guesstimate of 334, and then I left 100 in for tree replacements. So that still leaves 200,000 basically remaining in the fund, and that's with all of painting in there, but, I mean, I just want to make sure we did the right thing with painting, because I was a little confused on I thought it was just repairs. I didn't
That's
know it
what,
was the whole building.
that's what I thought it was.
So Belinda and I'll send this to
But I'm pretty
Belinda.
sure that
We'll
that's what it was, but-
Where was the rest of it coming from?
And
Yeah,
then
good
Rich,
question.
your email issue, I think it has to do with the sender's email, but I'm gonna put in, a ticket
In
for
River
it.
Club parking lot?
That was to redo that.
What was that, Belinda?
Rich has an email issue that he emailed me about. I think it has to do with the sender's email. Because unfortunately, because we have so many things in place to prevent, phishing and all types of, junk emails, I think it has to do with the sender's email.
Did you
So
guys
I'm
get that
gonna open
email?
up a ticket.
from-
He's having a problem with one
Mine
resident in
kept on
particular
going, mine kept on
emailing
going
him,
to
but I'll
my
open a ticket
junk
for it.
box. It was that email that everybody got, kept on going to my junk
That
box.
sounds like a rule in your system. though.
Yeah.
I
But
changed,
does everybody else get the email, or is
Yeah.
it just Rich that has the problem?
I got it.
I responded, I got it.
Which email?
Yeah?
The one that said, please respond from Carrie.
Oh, I got that.
I got
I got
Carrie.
that.
no.
It's the agenda
No,
email, it wasn't.
You're
I got
talking
it.
about
No,
the
I'm talking about, a resident sent me an email, Belinda.
Oh, I got that.
Yeah,
Which one?
Raisa?
Yeah.
I got that.
yeah,
I got
it kept on going to my junk box every time, and no matter what I did, I clicked on it, it says not junk, I moved.
That's,
I changed every rule on it, and it just kept on going back, no matter what happened.
So I'll open a ticket for
Okay.
that.
All right, to take care of that off.
Yeah.
Sure, and then
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
you saw Melissa's email. If you have any questions, in addition to what you had already sent her, let us know, but, there's a couple of things in here that we can review.
Okay.
I guess on this issue, Belinda, there's two other things. You sent me 2 invoices and asked if they should be in the hurricane fund,
The Medici berm, was one, I think.
right? And replace,
Yeah.
these are all irrigation issues. One is to replace the original bad install from WCI on the electrical for irrigation. These are really not hurricane. These are 25-year-old irrigation
Yeah,
systems.
isn't that reserves?
Yeah, so these
Okay.
are, these
It
should
could
not
be.
come out of
Okay.
hurricane. So I'm gonna let you take a look at these.
So I'll let Vanessa know on these, so she can go ahead and post them to the financials.
Okay.
This is.
Well, it's 10:57, does anybody need a break?
Should have supposed to. Yes.
Does anybody want a break?
That would be a yes.
Yes.
Thank you, Belinda.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's take a 10-minute break, and we're gonna get off the record at 10:57.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. There's variances and there should be questions about.
We're live.
So we're back, okay, so it is 11:08 a.m. and we're back on the record. I think I know we were in the middle of our River Club report,
Yes.
so. Greg, if you want to continue, that would be great.
Sure, I have a half a dozen things on
Okay.
my talking
Great.
points. We
Great.
have touched on a couple, so I'll breeze past those, like vital records. Andy has a copy of the contract. And then just let myself or Rich or both know what you,
Do you know if we have a signed one, an existing one? Do we have a copy of it?
that I don't know, and I don't know when it was actually originally implemented.
Did you send one? Did the dude from Vital Records send one?
I'll do a search. I don't believe he sent an old contract. He sent a proposal for a new contract.
Oh,
Yeah, this
that's
is
what
the
I'm remembering.
proposal.
Okay, I'm sure that's what I'm
Okay.
remembering.
If we have a signed one, I'd like to see it, but,
Okay.
okay, thank you.
I could not tell you.
Where we ended on our last board meeting, we had a fee problem. So I sent out the email, so I'll just be real brief. The one thing I will tell you is about 1,000, maybe 2,000 of the bees came back to the original hive.
I sent you that picture.
Yep, I have the picture. The young lady who took care of the bees came back and relocated those bees too.
Was there another queen in there, do you know?
No, what she described to me, those were the worker bees that weren't at home when she did.
Oh, when she left.
And they all.
You're on the night shift.
It's really an amazing picture because all of the bees couldn't get access to where the queen and the hive were
They were just,
because we sealed up the outside of that unit. So they were all in like a football on the outside of that thing, huddled, and she came and removed those.
Okay,
And
great.
we still have a couple more weeks because she said it could happen again.
okay.
Juniper started their flower project on Friday. There's been a lot of discussion about pots and direction. I think I've made my opinion clear, but I will reiterate, yep. That I think we have a lot of planter beds and irrigation systems already built in around the building. And if that was looking fantastic and we said, hey, don't touch a thing here, then that would be a different argument. But that's not looking good in and of itself. So taking on independent spaces with hand water pots and no irrigation doesn't seem, but you know what, we started the process. It was a very reasonable price point. Maybe we'll get through season and reevaluate for next year's plan of action and budget. And then I also want to monitor how Juniper does with the task they've taken on. It's been 3 days. Billing seemed to have gotten better this last month. As you know, J-Rod, Jessica was on site for a couple of days and instrumental in helping with the onboarding of some of our team members. At a request from the reserve committee, I had someone, equipment specialist from Edward Don came on site and did an audit and evaluation of all of our kitchen equipment. He did a walkthrough with the chef back there to find out what was purchased recently, what has never been upgraded since the original opening, and what is relatively new. So the one thing that came out that's relatively new is the pizza oven. And then there were 3 or 4, I think 3 pieces of equipment on the front line that were bought used a couple of years ago. But other than that, there's a handful of items that are actual original kitchen equipment. The gentleman from Edward Don, his name is Mike Perino. He is a specialist in this, and Edward Don is a preferred vendor of Hampton, so we get an additional discount going through Edward Don. So that's part of the project and for the La Sala, but even before the La Sala, looking at some of the kitchen equipment. One thing that Brian did say that showed up in a cleanliness report is he was told not to take certain things apart because they're being held together by corrosion. So there is at least one piece of equipment in the kitchen that is in really bad shape. There's 2 or 3, but one that's not good that he really does, we need to address that. Moving into the conversation from Raisa, and really for me, it's about code of conduct, both of employees and residents, how we treat not just each other, but residents treat each other, residents treat the staff, and most importantly for me, how the staff treats the residents. So to circle back on that conversation, I shared an email trail that went back and forth. The original incident with Raisa and her husband happened on Tuesday, 6 days ago. I was just wrapping up a meeting with Jill and Livy in my office and went on to an 11 o'clock Zoom meeting with 5 upper level employees from Jonas. as we are working on court bookings and reports and other issues that we're having with Jonas. And about 10 minutes into that meeting, I heard yelling and screaming through a closed door from the front desk. And that's when Libby came into my office and said, Greg, you need to get out here right away. When I approached the front desk, Ms. Ovetsky and her husband were both raising their voice and yelling at Alexandra, who, when she saw me coming, turned and walked away from the front desk. Ms. Ovetsky was, abrasive and, I don't know, just to me, out of line with me walking up into a conversation trying to fix the problem. Her assessment was that the data is corrupt. Well, what I asked her to do is just walk away from the front desk for the time. She was here to do swimming in the laps. I said, give me an opportunity to fix it. And she did. She went out and took her swimming an hour and a half in the pool. When she came back in, I was in a different meeting, but she came into my office. I was meeting with Cindy in my office.
She barged in on us.
She barged in on our meeting.
Yep.
She knocked on the door. We didn't answer the door, but she opened the door and came in.
Yep.
Cindy was there, part of that meeting. And I told her that her issue had been resolved. And what her issue was, as you know, at home, you have access to Jonas and you can set up different accounts with different email addresses. And her husband she was able to access her account, but her husband was not able to access his account because the email that he had entered into his email address was not a valid email. So as he was trying to reset his account, the two-step authentication was being sent to her email because it was linked to the same account. But rather, she would get the authentication on her email, but it wasn't doing anything to his email. Well, the good news was on that Tuesday, during her hour of swim, I had said to Alexandra, let's do a little research. I'm in a meeting. I'm going to come back after the meeting. And after the end of the meeting, Alexandra, who had resolved the issue for her by putting in a valid email for her husband, shared with me screenshots of how the data was entered improperly. So that's why he wasn't able to access. When she came back into our office, I said, problem fixed. And then I think it was later that same day that I heard some feedback from Nancy Spakowski, who's here, who was telling me, oh my gosh, Grace is so happy, her problem has been fixed, she has access to it, everything's great. And I said to Nancy, give it a day. And that's kind of what unfolded. You see in front of you the email trail that was a follow-up to everything's resolved and everything's fixed with my response, which was reviewed by Jill.
Yes.
And it was diplomatic, polite, but we just have to really, as the leader of a team trying to build a team, looking at the amount of turnover that there has been in years past, and understanding and being on the receiving end of a lot of the unnecessary commentary, rude and subversive comments about employees, including myself and other employees, physical threats being made to employees, employees not feeling safe or comfortable at work. It is going to be an impossible job to try to build and create a culture. And it goes both ways. If employees are behaving like that, I need to know because I'm going to do something about it.
So in regard to that, there is no reason that anybody should have to come into work and have to worry about being yelled and screamed at and belittled. I unfortunately, I'm a very hard stance on that. And I have zero tolerance. I thank you for resolving the issue, but I think Raisha's behavior was absolutely unacceptable. And her email to the board with her last comment and her last sentence to us, I feel like we need to address as well, and we can bring that up during this discussion. I just want to make that comment.
I appreciate your support.
I just feel like.
Well, yeah, and I just wanted to add, after, I don't think any of you know this, so Greg does, when Libby had popped into Greg's office right after she did that, at the first part of the episode, she called me because I had just left and she said, you better get back here. So I turned the golf cart around and came back. So I heard most of the interchange after Alex had walked away and Greg took over, and it was bad. I mean, it was bad. You got to calm down, but it wasn't good.
No, it's not good, and it doesn't feel good from us. We're here, you know, what we really want is the residents and the members to enjoy the club. But to have those kind of accusations and words and name calling and things like that, it's untenable for me. And I know we have other issues that need to be talked about from other staff.
Yes.
Fortunately for me, I don't think I even hear it as much as some people,
Right.
but I do hear it, and it is counterproductive. I'll just say that.
The people at the front desk get a lot, beaten up a lot.
They get beat up a lot.
All the time.
Do you have an incident report?
Well, just as an email, and the email was sent to, I think most of the board, it was sent to Hampton's HR, who I know
Might be
Hampton's.
beneficial, I don't mean to interrupt, but
No,
it might be
please.
beneficial to prepare an incident report, just, you know, there is a history of potential litigation, so. Might be
Oh,
good
that's
to
true.
document.
Very good.
Should we,
I'll take care of that.
should we wait and take action at a later meeting?
For this one?
Yeah,
I think that might be advisable.
Okay.
Yeah,
fair enough.
Okay.
Duly noted.
thank you.
Okay.
That's some input from Belinda.
Yeah, to me, from my perspective, my last two things are, it really comes down to code of conduct for not just residents, but staff and committee members and board members, everybody. I think everybody should fall under a umbrella of a code of conduct, that when that's breached, it just has to be a line in the sand in order to start to turn the ship.
Well, and maybe just one other thing, because I feel like I've been talking a lot, but nothing new there. I was gonna bring it up in supervisor remarks, but I had wondered whether the board shouldn't send an email out to the community saying, you know, something about treating each other with respect. I mean, maybe that's school marmish and we shouldn't be doing that, but it was a reaction I had, just
No, I
for you
think
guys
it's-
to think about.
I think it's spot on. I think it's a great idea, and I've actually started the ball rolling with Cindy, who is the VP of HR. You and I talked about this, but Cindy is gonna send us a couple of drafts that Hampton has used at other properties for similar scenarios.
That'd be great.
So I will have that draft and I'll send it to the entire
Okay.
board in the
Thanks.
next 24, 48 hours.
Appreciate it.
If we can include the guardhouse in that,
Yes.
because our guards get
Oh.
verbally abused,
Laura and Keith.
you know, they get
All of our
abused
staff.
verbally bad.
Oh,
And
at the gate's terrible.
you
It's
know-
horrible.
I
With
heard
the POA office.
everybody.
All employees, yeah. And then maybe we should have a response that when we have issues like we talked about this morning at the workshop, that we send a letter to and say, on
Yeah.
behalf of the board,
Yeah.
you know, these kinds of comments are counterproductive.
Mhm.
Please be careful as a representative of the CDD, you know.
I mean, and quite honestly, our reaction or what we decide to do is not, it's not meant to be punitive. It's meant to show that our staff, that we're supporting them and doing everything we can to protect them. So, and the other
And
residents.
the residents.
And the other residents when it's this volatile, yes.
Yeah, it is very volatile. I think it comes down, well, first, let me make a suggestion. Consider, I don't know if you've ever had a grievance committee, but sometimes you might want to take these kind of conversations to a specific committee of dedicated individuals that have been long-term residents, maybe have spent time on the board. Is that something you can talk about? Okay. And then the last thing I'll have to say is really is residency and membership in the club, is it a right or is it a privilege?
It is right.
It is
Yes.
right.
Belinda.
Belinda, you're up.
But you can be removed from this committee.
Yes, please.
Okay, so we do have a district where Andy and I work together on, where we have a policy in place when it comes to issues like this, as it relates to the staff on site. We can probably, distribute it, but to be honest, I think you should probably consider maybe a resolution and or a policy as it relates to the residents. We can't fine residents because we don't have fining abilities. But Andy can probably chime in on this because he knows better than I do. But we do have policies in place at certain districts where they protect the employees. And if somebody does something that they're not supposed to do, as it relates to berating employees, there is a standard.
We need a standard,
Okay,
right?
Belinda and I can pull that
That'd be
policy.
great.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah, that'd be
Belinda's
great.
texted me about it, so we.
That'd be great.
That would be
See it,
wonderful.
yeah.
Could we do something jointly on code of conduct? Are we allowed to do that? A joint?
I'll share with you, I'll share it with you. Okay, I'll share it with you.
Andy, I'm
Yeah.
gonna send this email to you from Risa that came to the board.
I think it's not.
Oh, just now?
Oh, you do?
It's-
Okay,
Just now?
No, this one from the other day.
Yeah, I did see it.
Okay,
That was sent to
okay.
me by, might have been Jill.
Okay, good.
I did see it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I think.
All right.
So,
Go ahead.
no, I was gonna say, I wasn't sure whether you were done.
I was done, I was gonna say unless anybody has any questions.
Go ahead, you go.
So, we're talking about the subsidy and everything like that. I will tell you that we were at the Tiki Bar on Saturday, and for a fact, 3 non-members came in to the Tiki Bar. And I will tell you that James was 100% professional,
Good.
okay? No question about the action that he took. But my comment to this is, I think that the people who are here that, if they don't know the person, they have every right to ask for at least a member number. Give me
Sure.
the member number or the homeowner and the address.
Agree?
So I do know for a fact that there were 3 people in here who ate lunch and had a couple of drinks, and that dips into our subsidy, right?
Yeah.
So I just want to mention that. Like I said, I think James did everything right under the set of circumstances that we were dealing with.
Yeah.
But if we could just ask, have all the staff, if they don't recognize somebody, member ID, and if they say they're a guest, say, okay, can I have the last name and the household? You can still pay by credit card,
Right.
right? You can still pay by credit card, but we need the address of the place, of the homeowner and the homeowner name and the
So were
address.
they a guest of?
Or who they're a guest of,
Well,
yes.
But if they say they're a guest, I mean, all you have to do is just look in the phone book and
Okay, I
But-
guess you could do
No, but
that,
guests
but.
have to be accompanied when they come up.
that's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
there's have to be
Yeah.
accompanied, so they
Yeah.
can't just be a guest of somebody.
Well,
They should have a guest pass.
Yeah, they have either have a guest
You should have a
pass
guest
or,
pass, or they
or,
should be accompanied.
Yeah,
or
They're one or the
accompanied,
other.
so
They
if they
still need to see a card.
so if
If
they were
not,
unaccompanied, if they are unaccompanied and guest cardless person, they don't get, they.
Well, and I will tell you, Alex
I'm
told me,
100% sure.
well, Alex told me that there were 2 ladies
Yes.
who
And
came
she told
into
me
the
that too.
club and sat in the bar at lunchtime. And she introduced herself and asked for their information. I said, no, we're not members. We got a postcard in the mail that said, come in and join us for lunch. And she handled it very well. Yeah, but we have people coming in and, because we're porous.
Yeah.
So we have people coming in. And she said, and I also believe there are people doing the same thing at the Tiki Bar, definitely. So we
Yeah,
have
we saw
it.
it
It's an
happen
issue.
Saturday.
Yeah,
So just a comment.
So I would say just to even have to staff be more careful. I mean, there could be people here that are coming so often,
Mhm.
the staff might think they belong here.
That's true.
So I
You
think
still
we-
need to see their card.
I think they should, they should just start asking for cards as a standard course,
Yes.
for at least until they can associate that person with the card, at least the first time. I mean,
I'm being asked for my member number,
Yeah.
usually at dinner.
We're diligently working
Yeah.
on the process.
Yeah.
I think a good portion of our members don't bring their cards. But most of our members know their numbers and their address. Not even all of them know their member number.
Right.
Number and address.
Right.
Member
I'm
number and
saying,
address.
most of them-
Yeah.
If having the card was the policy or the rule,
Right.
no problem. But I don't think that it is.
I think
Well,
it is,
in
it
the
is a
rules,
policy. The
it
rules say-
says, management has the right to ask for your card. I'm
Yes.
Paraphrasing. but,
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. I just had 2 quick things, and they're not really questions, but, one of them is, there were a couple questions about closing the pool for a few hours for an event at the end of the month, and I think those have been managed, but I wondered if you could just quickly speak to that and also to the Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day,
Sure.
how that's gonna change.
Sure. Well, the one that we did modify is, I think it's Memorial Day, the Tiki Bar will be open with the Tiki menu for the course of the day.
Yeah.
But other events, particularly member events, when there is an unknown amount of participation, and for example, I think it's the Fins Up event on March 27th, that we're expecting to have 150-ish residents. I think we already have more than 90 signed up and we're weeks away. So those are the kind of events that we discussed during the workshop that you guys had with me two meetings ago, talking about the ability to execute 150 covers with the current staff that we have. And not just the front of the house, but the back of the house being able to execute. So the directive that I asked for and the directive that I received was for member events, if they are member events, if there are larger events and you have to shut down certain venues, do the best you can with accommodating as many as you can for as much of the time. But you have to close down certain venues at certain times in order to not fall on our face. So I sat down with the team, Brian, Kat, Luciano, and we went through upcoming events throughout the end of the season and took our best guess as 3 new employees, how many people are going to come to some of these different events, tried to extend the hours as long as possible that would still allow for setup, and looked at our staffing ability and needs and execution ability. I mean, this kitchen is just not equipped to serve 300 covers in a 2-hour period. So we're going to knock out of the park the events that we do have on the books. We're under promise and over deliver on expectations and be able to execute and perform. So that's, hopefully that answers that.
Well, I don't think the issue is so much closing down, let's say, the tiki bar for food. I think it's closing down the pool, the pool area, so people can use the pool area on a holiday weekend. I think that was
The weekend or the holiday?
Originally, it was Memorial Day that it was going to be for the event only at Memorial Day. We sent out a revised notification saying Memorial Day will be open for tiki food all day because we have learned that it's not as busy. The other event isn't a holiday, it's a Friday evening that the pool will be open till 4, but there's an event at the Tiki Bar, which is a paid event by the residents that will have to secure that area. So if people, and in the revised edition, it did say the lap pool is available, but the pool area for that one day after 3 o'clock is planning to be held for people attending the event. And I can tell you, we went so far as to schedule the event in such a way that the event ends at 7 and sunset that night is at 7:34. So I don't know if everybody's going to swim at the pool or not, but I think if you're coming as a resident to attend the Fins Up event at the pool, you should have access to the pool and be part of the event. So
I agree.
that's why we did the event for
The only complaint I had heard of was that originally it was planned to close the pool at 11 a.m. on Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. Only because there's a Memorial Day event, and I'll take ownership and say, our team all thought that the Memorial Day event was going to be much bigger than we've learned since the planning process. I've been told that the Memorial Day event is not a great big event.
All I'm suggesting is on a holiday especially, why would we close the pool?
The thought process,
Everybody.
it's not closed. It's open.
It sounded like it wasn't going to be
It
at one
won't be,
time.
but
You
my
may have
point is,
changed
it
it.
won't, it changed, it won't be, right?
The plan was that it was only open to the residents that were attending the Memorial Day event for the day. I've learned that the Memorial Day event for the day isn't that busy, so we're not gonna have 200 people coming for a Memorial Day event where we were required to close the pool. So in the second edition of the hours, that one we modified and said, Tiki Bar is open all day.
Okay.
And I can tell you, it is a problem because I can count on one hand people I know who always wander up to these paid events an hour in.
Yes.
And come in, they listen to the music,
Yep.
they grab a few bites to eat,
Yep.
and they never pay.
I agree
And so
that,
that is
Right.
and so if you don't close the pool unless people have a band, it's gonna be a problem.
and I know you said you were for the Fins Up, you're gonna keep the lap pool open. Then how are you going to control those people from the lap lane then coming into the party where everybody else is already paid? To me, if you've got those people that are going to,
Wristband.
well, are you good with wristbands? I didn't think you wanted
We
to do
didn't,
that.
we
But
weren't going to have to do wristbands because it was going to be the whole area. I kind of think it's gonna be somewhat of a non-issue. And again, I haven't been here for one of these events and to see how much crossover there is at the lab.
I mean, my issue is in the residents pay for the music.
Right.
And the food.
Yes.
So in my mind, the people that made the payment for that should have exclusivity to that because they made the payment for it. So if you're even in the lap pool, you're having the opportunity to enjoy the music and not treat the lap pool like a lap pool. You might be floating in it, just listening to the music. You know what I mean?
My only suggestion, I do, and I agree with you, by the way.
Okay.
I think the area should be closed off if there's a member event.
Yes.
However, my suggestion is we don't have member events like that on a holiday.
Yes,
a
I agree
public
with
holiday.
I agree with that.
Because that's when you want to come, a lot of people want to come to the pool.
You're right.
I was just gonna say, I mean, all good information, but we need
Yes,
to let them
yeah.
manage the event, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But they need our direction, Angie,
Understood.
on special occasions.
I think it's resolved, and I didn't mean to start a whole.
That's fine.
That's
No, it's great. It's a great follow-up to the conversation we had a month
Yeah,
ago.
and then just one final quick one. I wondered how it's going with Monday, Tuesday at the Tiki and food trucks.
Not very well because there is, food trucks require minimums. So some of the food trucks have left early because they're not having any sales. Most of the food truck minimums hover around $400. And I guess that would be their break-even point. So it is something we are taking a look at. I know you and I had a sidebar conversation because I've had a couple of food trucks say they won't come back
Right.
on a Monday or Tuesday. Now, the holiday that we were open was great, but if you want to ride it out through season, we've got 8 or 10 more weeks of season and we can keep it in play. And if you want me to pull the plug, I can do that too.
You're talking about Tiki or food trucks?
Food trucks.
Food trucks.
How is it going on Monday and Tuesday at the Tiki?
Yeah.
It's about a break-even proposition.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, good.
Yeah, so we're covering,
excellent.
we're not making a ton of money, but it's a nice amenity.
Yeah, I agree.
It gives, the pools are busy on Mondays and Tuesdays, so
Yes.
having an outlet for somebody to get a cocktail or something.
Well, and maybe it'll build, and then over time, next year or something, we can think about food. Okay, that's helpful. I don't want to take up a lot of time.
And I would leave the food trucks in play for the rest of season.
Just one thing, we had one food truck that put up all these flags,
Yeah, that was last week.
last week, the food truck, what do you guys think about that?
You mean like the donut flags?
They had like 5 flags, they had 5 of these 20-foot tall flags, in
That
the
doesn't
area.
bother me.
Did not, okay.
No, I saw them up there. I mean,
Trying to make
otherwise,
money.
quite honestly, I wouldn't have known the food truck was there had I not seen them coming into the drive.
You invited them in, I think.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Just asking.
Cool, thank
I
you.
have one quick great question, only because I don't want to answer these emails until I know who's responsible for the fitness room.
Ah.
For what aspect of the fitness?
The
room?
gym, cleanliness, monitoring,
center?
that kind of thing.
I asked that a month,
The
I asked
place
that
where the
question,
exercise equipment exists.
I asked that a month ago.
Well, I'll tell you, basically our facilities maintenance guys during the course of the day, fitness instructors clean up their area when they're done with their classes and things. But really, I personally think we need another FTE in facilities maintenance because of the unique aspect of this club with 6:30 a.m. start times for tennis. I mean, that is the person that does that. So if that person works an 8-hour shift, at 3 o'clock, they're gone. So I'll sit down with a schedule with anybody, and if you can figure out a solution how 1.5 or 2 FTEs can cover a 7-day operation, I'm open to it. But that is something that we need to have a conversation.
Yeah.
Now, I will tell you this, on Friday, I had somebody bring a bucket into my office with a towel because of the rain Thursday night. There was a leak, which Ray knows about and he's working on in the fitness area. But the gentleman who came into my office said this has been on the floor in the fitness room all week, or since Monday, the last 5 days in a row. Well, at 8 o'clock the night before, I watched on the camera the person who brought it in. It was actually there for 14 hours or 16 hours. It was put there the night before because the roof was leaking from the night before rain, so. And then there was also an incident where there was a garbage can that would overflow it. So
That's
we've
the
had,
one we all got.
yeah, we've added an additional garbage can, but it happened to be with an exorbitant amount of the white towels being put into one can. So we've increased the numbers of cans, so it's not a one can catch.
Toucan.
Toucan.
It's a toucan.
All right, thank you. So, whatever, it's fine. Thanks.
Everybody else, wait, can we let you go?
Those, Cheryl, there's a bunch of agenda items for the FPAC.
Just,
That's some of it.
but I had, like, I had brought that up, like I said, 2 meetings ago, like, if we can get some job responsibilities, who does what, and I did specifically say who's responsible for the gym, so, and I granted, I understand people have, hours and whatever, but to walk in, as Ray's walking outside from the inside to stop and pick up a garbage can, I mean, that should not be that
Well,
difficult.
ultimately, my response was gonna be ultimately, the buck stops with Greg. So, and you can assign somebody, but you know what, and if it comes to staffing and you need to staff something different, that's still a management responsibility and an operational thing, so I'm good with that.
But it's also, to your point, it's also a budget thing. So here's one of the challenges that I face. What time does the gym close?
11 o'clock,
11 o'clock.
opens at 5:30 in the morning.
What time does the club close? 8 o'clock. And the latest, or 6 o'clock, depending on the day of the week. So we really have to take a hard look at the budget at coverage.
But see, I don't think there needs to be somebody here the whole time that the gym is open, because that's a resident perk, that I can come up and work out at 10 o'clock if I need
And we
to.
have the cleaning ladies
But
at
you
night.
have to be a responsible resident, and you don't trash the place.
But we have the cleaning people coming in at night, so if there's extra garbage, so.
Let me give you a different scenario. The toilet in the locker room is clogged with something
15 pounds.
at 9 o'clock at night. Who's here? Or the toilet is running over because I just got done working out and I flushed too much and it won't stop running, and now the floor is flooding. It's 9:30, whatever time it is. How does that get handled? I'm open for suggestions. I've plunged the toilet a few times myself.
Call Ken's mom.
I'm not the general manager. I've plunged the toilet a few times myself, especially when it comes to during service hours of operations. And I had the dishwasher take care of the issue, but there is nobody in facilities maintenance during the hours of operation.
So we'll talk about it during budget.
Budget time is perfect.
But there never was.
Hey, Cheryl,
Yes,
we are
2
hours in.
Yeah, we haven't even done the business yet.
Yep.
Okay.
all right, thank you, Greg.
We need to move on. So if there's something that needs to be added to the next agenda or to the next workshop agenda, let me know. But I think we need to move forward.
I'll put it on the workshop for next
Okay.
week. The
So,
next workshop, I'm gonna put on FPAC issues.
okay.
How does
Okay,
that
great.
sound?
Oh, that's great.
Because it's a laundry list.
Okay, we'll do that. All right. So, if Greg's packing up, I guess, it sounds like we can move on to, Keith, your report.
I'm here if you need me.
Okay,
I don't really have anything. I've got some things for you to sign though
okay.
at the end, but other than that, if you have any questions, please.
I got a quick one. Monument painting.
Yes,
Yes.
that's been an ongoing thing with the painters. They were supposed to be here last week into it, so I'll find out today what's going on with them, but they're gonna paint the first 3. We'll take a look, and then if that's the colors and all that we like, we had a landscape up there at the front entrance, and that's one of the big things that they, that will change the whole look of that front entrance when it's painted. And so that is, but yeah, they're supposed to have been here last week doing it. I'll find out today what in the heck happened.
Okay, great. And we won't be doing anything with the speed bumps until Rick is back.
I think he's got the contract or the
Okay.
agreement sent out to them to get that.
Okay, I
done.
just want to make sure that before any work happens, that we do send out some kind of a
Yes.
pre-communication, so we don't get any more petitions.
One last
Come on, that
thing.
guy wasted like $3,000. That was so much fun.
Oh, thanks.
That's synthetic.
Oh, okay, thanks. Okay, I'll give that to our bocce ball expert. Okay, good. Anybody else, anything for Keith? Belinda, anything for us?
No, other than the fact that I am going to be reviewing some records pretty soon. I
Ooh.
where I need to go.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I will do that. But,
Okay.
I did want to remind everybody that the next meeting is just gonna be a workshop. So
Yes.
please send me all of your workshop items before the AK mark, so we can post the agenda on the website and send it out.
Okay.
We'll probably do it 7 days, it all depends, but
Okay.
if we get it too late,
Yeah.
it's really hard to amend the agenda because it has to go through a review process. So I know that everybody wants to get everything on the agenda as soon as possible. I try to do my best with it, but to be honest, it really is a process for me and for my team.
Yeah, okay.
So if you could just send us everything that you have, 7 days is fine for me, 8 days is fine, but as long as you can get it to us, we will post it.
Okay. I wanted to let you know, Greg and I together had communicated with Carol McGrail about her availability for May 8th for a budget workshop, and she said that she is. I wanted to share that with you, in case, you don't usually participate in those.
The budget workshop?
No.
I don't, I mean, I could be there if you'd like. but I
Yeah,
don't-
no, I don't think, I was looking at Andy just out of habit, I think, more than anything else.
No, it's more, well, he does participate because he has to review the ad.
Yes,
So we do send Andy the ad.
And if we're
And so
doing
we have to
that,
advertise it, so what we'll do is we'll advertise it. I'm fine for that date.
okay,
I'm gonna work with Vanessa on a couple of things for that date, but I'm glad that we got it penciled in. So what I'll do is I'll send everybody a reminder, just and a calendar invite, so that everybody has it on their calendar.
yeah, that would be great, and I think to include Carol, in that would be ideal, so that, once it's locked in with her, let me put it that way.
Okay.
Cool.
Jill, can you just send me her email address?
Yes.
Because Vanessa has it, but I don't have it.
Yep,
And maybe we could just add her to the distribution list?
Yeah.
So that she's copied on everything that we send out?
okay, sure. Okay. And I'll get you her email address.
Okay, perfect.
All right, great, okay. Alrighty, let's see. Got two people chasing me up here. Okay, so let's see, where are we? Anybody got anything else? Yeah, anything else for Belinda? Yep, business items. We had started the survey. I think we were pretty close to being finished, quite honestly, if I
I got some more.
recall. Oh, that's right, you had a number.
Yeah,
Let me pull that out.
My email. I feel like my
Oh,
number
God, where is it? Okay, yeah, the questions about, like, how many times a month do you dine outside the community, or actually, which of the following dining venues have you used in the past 6 months? I would do 1 month, 3 month, or 6 month. Just to get an idea of, just have you used it once in 6 months, doesn't really give you a lot of information, but it'd be nice to know if you use it 1 month, within 1 month, 3 months, and then 6 months, and you get all of that information. And then ask, how many times a month do you dine outside the community while residing in the Venetian? I would like to know if it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner, because if somebody's going into breakfast every day, we don't serve breakfast, that's really irrelevant for us, but we're thinking that we could capture a lot of business, but we don't do breakfast, so it doesn't make a difference. And then the next question we have is, how many times a month do you dine at the River Club or reside at the Venetian? And I would ask the question, lunch, dinner, breakfast, tiki, to go, where are you doing these things? So you could just,
We have that data though, don't we?
how many times do you dine at each individual?
Yeah, I don't think we should be asking people for data that we have or should have.
We don't know how many. We know the people that we would have to go back and look at each individual. We would know how, yeah, we could figure out how many chits and how many people are doing it. Then if that's the case, then don't ask the questions. I mean, if you want to go back and.
Well, but I think it's important to know outside, but to me, inside is data that we already have. I'd rather ask about dining style than
Me
meal. Because the,
Yeah.
you know, because to me, the meal thing is, I don't know. I don't know that we're looking to be that full service of a
Well,
facility,
I'm
but
not, no, just, but how many times a month do you eat at the,
Maybe we should say how many times a month you eat dinner outside of the River Club.
because that's the meal we're really looking at.
You just say dinner. If
dinner
you're
off property, right?
Yeah,
Well, it says how many times do you dine outside?
right.
Yeah,
So maybe you
that could
just
be
say
breakfast,
dine.
Breakfast, dinner.
It could be McDonald's. I mean, it doesn't,
I don't know that we get a lot from that question anyway. That question to me is kind of one of those, do we even really need it? Because it doesn't really matter how many times you dine out. I only care about when you dine here. I mean, we're gonna have to ask 40 questions like, did you go on a Monday when we don't serve dinner? Did you go on a
No.
Tuesday when we don't serve dinner?
What do you have?
What'd you have? Did you go to
Well,
McDonald's or a better restaurant?
I think it's being asked so you get an idea of an opportunity
that's,
of
yeah.
how many
What-
more could they dine here.
Yeah, if we could.
But in reality, does anybody do anything with the data?
I just think it's a weird question.
I don't
We
think-
do anything.
And I don't think we would have enough information to do anything with it unless you asked 8 other questions. I
think
I
we should
would
kill
take
it.
Let's
out-
take the question out.
would
think-
take out which of the following dining venues at the River Club have you used in the last 6 months? Because to me, we have the data. How many times per month you dine outside? I would also ditch that question.
I agree.
And then how many times per month dine at the River Club? I would take that out. I would like to take those 3 out, at least in my opinion. But I would like to ask the question, what is your preferred dining style? Is it casual, is it upscale, or is it mixed? And I got that from the AI.
Well, we have that.
Okay.
It has
Really?
that. Yeah. Do you-
Where?
Please share why you have not dined at the club, so will it apply? Prefer a more formal menu, prefer a more casual menu?
But that's different.
That's a
Style
different
and menu are
question.
2 different things.
Yeah.
That you can have fish tacos in that dining room, that's not casual dining.
See, I think that leaves too much
Is it
to
too leading?
interpretation.
Okay,
Because I think a lot of people come here to eat and
okay,
think of it as casual dining.
okay. So then do we just stick with,
I mean, burger night is in the main dining room, but it's not fine dining. It's burger night.
no, that's my point, but you're still in what a lot of people consider a formal dining room.
But that,
I don't think people think of it that way.
I don't think
Oh,
so
I think,
either.
well, okay.
I think it depends on the event. If it's a wine dinner, then it's a formal dining room.
So then,
If it's burger night, you don't think of it as a formal dining room.
then do we just want to stick with that one question? Please share why you've not dined at the club. I mean, what do we do with the dining questions? Or do we just take them all out and just stick with the, please evaluate your dining experiences and leave it at that?
From the last couple of years survey, these questions have been there. Has anybody done anything?
No.
With the results of these questions? If not,
I think
don't
there's
ask.
it's either too vague or too granular to be able to do anything with. Because that one that says,
then take them
why
home.
you have not dined, that takes 4 questions out right there.
Well, isn't this why, but I thought that the questionnaire people helped set this up. So if it's not getting us the answers that we're looking for, then
Why?
I mean, they won't even bother doing the survey, because if they help create the survey and the information is either too broad or too granular, then what did they create for us and what are we getting out of it?
Well, I think there's a lot more than just dining.
See, I don't think, if you're gonna leave in, share why you've not dined, you have to ask them where they've dined.
No, but I think if we
River Club
take that
aside.
out, then it goes right to, please evaluate your dining experiences. And then people tick off those. That's at least current as opposed to, you know what I mean? That's today, which I think is what we're looking for anyways, a benchmark as opposed to strategic planning with this.
So you're
Right.
saying eliminate
So we eliminate which of the following dining venues have you used here in the last 6 months? How many times per month you dine outside the community? We eliminate that. How many times per month do you dine at the River Club while residing, which is redundant anyway, from the one above? Take that out.
You see, the problem is, I mean, I don't know, I would have to ask Greg, but looking at Jonas, I can tell you how many chips we've had at Tiki, but I can't tell you how many times the same person came back and created those chips. So you'll get total meals, you'll get total, in a month, we had 822 chips in a month, but
Why don't you leave which of the following dining venues have you used, and then take out how many times?
no, I would keep those in. I would try to get more information out of it.
But
But there's inside and then there's outside and
and
there's
people are
inside
gonna
again,
judge us
and there's
differently. How
outside
many
and
times
there's
per month? Well,
inside.
I'm only here for 6 months and I eat there 12 times, so that's once a month.
Well, it says it should be while you're here.
While you're residing.
While you're residing.
It doesn't say that.
It does.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Sorry, my bad.
It's okay.
I don't know what we would do with that. I'd be more interested to know where, rather than how
but
many
it should-
times.
it
Because
should-
if they're eating at Hyde Park in Sarasota, it doesn't matter. We're not gonna become a steakhouse.
But I'm saying, well,
It's too broad where.
I agree with Ken. I think it's too
no,
broad.
you can't ask where. I
No,
think
the
that-
where is too broad.
Well,
How many times is fine.
what are you gonna, okay.
But I would definitely ask how many times have
Well,
you,
we need a decision, because it's 12,
Yeah,
or
just leave
do
it.
we, okay,
Why don't we just
so,
leave it?
so we're taking out, we're leaving it how many times per month? We're leaving that in while residing in Venetian. The one,
Why don't we just leave it all in?
okay, that's fine. That's fine.
I mean,
So these are all stet. That's right, I don't care. And what we could do, if you guys are okay, and I could go through and do this, to save us some time. If you go down into the first one with the major bubbles on dining, you look down below, mixed drink selection, there's quality food, presentation of food, consistency of food. Can we just combine those 3 bubbles? Or do you want to just leave it? Want to just leave the stuff the way it is?
I think, well, I would also try to organize it a little bit better. And once you organize it, you'll be able to get rid of those questions.
Yeah, but we don't have time to do that, unless we want to defer this to the next
Well, I mean,
workshop,
if,
because it's new.
I mean, we don't have, I mean, if you just want to organize them, I mean, if you just want to tell these people to organize, like, you should have, you have promptness upon greeting upon arrival, and then they have timeliness of service. I mean, service should be kind of together, menu should be together, and the quality of food should be together. I'm just, you have responsibility of staff here, professional of the staff,
Okay, I can ask them to do
Yeah.
that, that's no problem.
just organize it.
So that'll be true then for the dining room, la sala.
Yeah,
et cetera.
Just categorize it a little bit better, it'll make it a little bit easier.
that's
And then if they decide that there's redundancy, I mean, responsiveness and professional of the wait staff, to me, is kind of the same thing. If you're responsive, you're professional. If you're professional, you're responsive.
You're gonna be very mean and responsive.
Yeah, I'm not.
That's true.
That is true.
Why don't
You
we
know,
just,
Can I just make,
please?
what if we leave it the same as last year,
Yeah,
except
I
for
was
the
thinking.
additions? And then when we get the results, let's spend time when we get the results and say, we aren't using this data, let's take it out next year. But I think that if we do it when we have the results in front of us, it might be easier.
And I like to keep it the same because I'd like to see the
Yeah.
consistency of the responses year over year. We commingle, we change things, and we lose the context of the results from last year to this year.
Right. But if
Year
we're
over
gonna
year.
change it, we should
But-
change it when we're looking at the results.
Yes,
Okay.
To me,
No,
it's fine.
agree.
Get it out.
I don't think we added anything yet, did we? You
No.
said additions. I did though want to ask you all, we are changing the shower question a little bit. There was, the questions at the very end about how supportive would you be of the following potential changes. Do we want to take that out?
no, I'd like to leave those in.
Leave it in?
I would like to see how the
Okay.
attitude has changed year over year on something like that, yes.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how everybody else feels, but I'd be curious to know how everybody
As the
feels.
mix of people come out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just
Exactly.
have a couple changes here, and Peter said that the timetable would actually be compressed. because everything's loaded up. So we just have
Okay.
a couple, do you all want to see it? Yeah.
My only question on that one, because I think people are very supportive, but I think if you put in there, how supportive would you be of the following potential changes if it involved an increase in cost?
There you go, yeah, just add that little
Because that's
context to it.
gonna, you know,
That always
people
makes
love
a
stuff
difference.
until you say it's gonna cost you $5.
Yeah.
Right.
What are you suggesting?
That this says, how supportive would you be of the following potential changes, understanding this might increase the cost? Yeah, maybe your assessment or.
Increase the
your
assessment, yeah.
annual- Yeah.
But we need to be clear, is it day-to-day cost or is it the assessment?
It's
Assessment.
day, it's the assessment.
Right, exactly.
That is cost.
But where is it gonna get them? It won't be when they come in the bar, it'll be.
I would say assessment could be impacted,
Understanding that your assessment.
could be impacted, okay. All right, and then we'll just leave two things that can be improved.
Includes a $10,000 assessment.
Ooh, God, can you
Oh,
remember that? Okay, so then I think just with those few changes, and I will shorten up the cover letter that goes out. And you do not need to see this again before it goes out with those, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, fine and dandy. All right, moving on. We have gotten to the mulch, consideration of the distribution director, your mulch proposal behind tab number 2. Tab number 1.
This is a 3-year contract
Yeah.
that they're gonna lock in the price for 3 years. Some of the communities within the Venetian have already agreed with it. I think it's it's a pretty good thing, especially with the price of,
Price is great.
Everything going up.
Is this
So-
what
It
we've
can
been
go up
using in the
2.5%.
past?
same, yes.
Yeah.
Saying, yeah, so then if I make a motion that we accept the proposal from distribution,
And not
Direct.
the contract.
direct, for the amount of $41,503.92, subject to preparation of contract by council.
I'll second.
And I'll make sure the contract references a 3-year lock.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any further discussion?
No, we're not taking any further discussion.
No.
You're right. It takes a village. Okay, moving on. Item 6C, review and discussion regarding the access policy, which can be found behind tab number 2.
I thought this looked absolutely fabulous.
I did.
Yes.
I had a couple quick questions, but I'm sure they're very quick.
Has this been revised from what we have?
Yeah,
So this is a revision. So do we
this minorly,
we don't.
not huge.
we
Because
don't
I knew
need
we
to-
had one, I
Yeah,
remember
we do.
comparing it.
Yeah.
So I started with the old one.
I did want to ask if garage doors, have they always been sort of a courtesy but not in the policy?
No, it was there.
'Cause were they in here? Did I miss them?
Yeah,
Was it?
it's still here.
Okay, I must have read it. I swear it wasn't. Of all doors, no, it's River Club.
I didn't take it out.
I didn't see it. Oh, report on the garage doors to homeowners. Yep, okay, got it. Never mind.
The only thing I did change from this version, on page 2, patrol duties K,
Mhm.
I took out the and flag is lowered before dark, because now it's lit and we don't lower it.
Okay. Okay, good. Nice.
I listened.
Then the last thing, which is not directly for the policy, but, an awful lot of people are waved through, and I think that's what generated the discussion. But I did want to resurrect for a future meeting that we consider adding a sign on the way in. Keith is nodding his head yes, that says, have your ID and Venetian destination.
I just need the
ready-
wording of what you
Ready
want.
for the officer.
So
I think we should, we did?
Yeah, we said we would do that.
Said we would do it.
But people will still get waved through. I mean, that's gonna happen.
No, but I think we will get rid of some of the looky-loos.
Oh, now the guards are instructed, now, I mean, we look at it, we want every ID. You have an ID, you come in, here it is. And where are you going? ID and your location.
So even on a permanent guest who is here every single day, they're gonna stop them and ask for an
Unless
ID.
they
That's
have-
ridiculous. That'll
Unless they have
just
got a
slow
tech
them
wave thing.
They don't
Tech
stop
wave
me, by
doesn't-
the way.
The tech wave doesn't last more than a day. You don't.
No, when you come up and you say, I'm a permanent guest, I'm on 105, there you put your direction, where you're going. And if you go in and say, oh yeah, okay, you're in, and
Yeah.
they come on in. If they don't have a location or they're just saying, hey, I'm here to, go to the River Club, I need your driver's license and who's representing you.
Okay,
Is that-
that I get.
Well,
Right, but if they say, forget you, I'm not giving it to you. they
Then we
still
let 'em in.
Yes.
You let them in, but then the rover follows them.
He should if he's
What
available,
about- So
yes.
what about an Uber?
Well, they should still know where they're going.
They should still know where they're going and a driver's license.
Okay, well, I'm not sure that's happening. Can I ask Mrs.
It probably
Spakowski?
isn't, but now they're supposed to.
It should be.
Okay.
They're
It
supposed
should
to
be.
take
It will.
exhibit A and
Okay.
hang it right in
Okay.
front of them, so they
So,
know what
okay.
to do.
So do you want me to do it? I can do a drafted language for the sign that we could.
Yeah, if you, what you would like to have it to say, so I can get with the sign guy and he
Okay.
can
I will get that done.
Yeah.
3D it, make
Would you
it.
run it by me?
Yes,
And
sir.
Sure.
everybody's license plates picked up on the cameras, right?
They should be, yes.
There's a couple of incidences where they won't be picked up, like for example, that box truck that was stalled, because the plate was right in the middle of the door, it was too high to pick it up. So there are a couple of oddball instances, but they are all getting picked up.
Okay.
It is a stupid question. I don't know if we want to get to this. If people are giving the guards a driver's license, do we want to give them a cheapy little digital camera to take a picture of them?
I don't think we can
Yeah, I don't
collect
think
that
we can do that.
information, can we?
Don't they scan it?
No,
They don't
they
scan
look
it?
at it.
They can't scan it. The back
They
of
look
it.
at
Well,
I worry
just remember,
about
anything they
security.
Me too.
Our
becomes,
responsibility, what if
becomes
that's
per-
happens?
private.
Yeah.
I don't wanna
Public
touch
records
that.
I
request.
wouldn't want to touch that one either.
I don't wanna touch that.
Anyone can
without-
say, I want all the driver's
Good
licenses
point.
you have.
Good-
Yeah, so
Yeah.
they're just confirming that the person is the person they said they were.
Yeah, I think so. Do we need to vote on this?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the district's access policy as amended.
Second.
All in
There's
favor?
actually a resolution number
Oh.
prior to versions had a resolution number.
I mean, I could prepare a separate resolution, we just do that for tracking, but
We probably should, just for sake of posterity.
would you like me to prepare a resolution for next?
Don't you think we should?
This is superseding an existing resolution.
Yeah, then we need to, yeah, okay, so it needs a
I think it's
resolution.
2021. Belinda sent.
Okay, needs a resolution.
All right, I'll
Okay.
prepare it for the next
So
meeting.
that'll be
And I'll
the
get the
April
old ones
16
from-
meeting.
I'll get old ones from Belinda.
Okay, okay, cool.
Dates, yeah.
That's cool. All righty, thank you, and thanks a lot for that, I agree. So moving on to item D, this is a discussion on the suspension of a resident by the name of Henry D. Francesco. I'm pulling out my document here that I had. How much, Andy, how much information do we need to put in the discussion on the record about this? Obviously, we need some kind of a reason and we need to discuss the length of the suspension.
You do. I mean, here, I'm just gonna read from the River Club Declaration, in which is the same provision we've utilized in the past. And the provision we've traveled under, and from what I know about this situation, would be the same, I assume, exhibits unsatisfactory behavior, conduct, or appearance. So if we have just some limited information on the record about some unsatisfactory behavior, conduct, and then the board can discuss whether they want to suspend it for how long.
Okay.
We can prepare correspondence. Obviously, we've done them in the past.
We don't send a warning letter before suspension?
This
You
gentleman,
can, but we do not. We're not required to.
this gentleman was suspended for 2 weeks last year.
January.
Last January, he was suspended for 2 weeks because of his inappropriate behavior with our tennis pro and our assistant food and
I
beverage.
thought the
manager.
name sounded.
Yeah.
And a facility.
Oh, really?
Well, it started with the facility.
Oh, that's right, it did. It started with the facility
facility
issue. You're right. You're absolutely correct.
That evolved into
Yeah.
the behavior.
Yes.
Yeah, I have to say, my concern here is the I was stopped on Tuesday when I was at the club by a resident who said, you know, he's doing it again with the bands and provoking. And what was told by multiple people, including folks who heard him say it, is that, you know, I'm gonna do this, watch the ladies go crazy.
He did say that.
And, but for me, that is secondary to the email. Well, it's, I think to me, it's secondary to the
Can somebody
email.
demonstrate what these things?
I don't get it, but, you know, I think the fact that we have a staff member who was told, I'm gonna deal with you in my own way.
That to me was the bigger issue.
Yeah,
The band issue is like,
Yes. Yeah, well, yeah, I think it's, the band issue was the precipitator. This was the real behavior. Because I think if you've got a staff member feeling threatened, you know, to the extent that I felt I needed to contact law enforcement, and they did come into the club, and I talked to them, they talked to Matt, because they wanted the history from me. You know, I feel that we have to send the message, so.
did they visit the resident?
Yes, they did.
Okay.
They did.
Did you get feedback from that visitation?
Yes. I mean, they didn't detect an imminent threat, at least
Okay.
according to what I was told. I want to be very careful what I say here.
Sure.
But I think what I'm responding to is less them and more the fact that we have a repeated behavior, which if we don't address it, I will only add that I spoke to one of the captains, one of the co-captains of this team, and I spoke to the captain of the previous captain of the team. And no one wants to deal with this tennis player. They're uncomfortable telling him something he doesn't want to hear. I think we have to send a message. Okay. In my opinion, the question is, how long do we suspend him?
We typically do 14 days.
Yeah.
Well, that was the first offense, this is the second offense.
I don't remember what we did for him specifically. I'm just looking at some of the others we've done recently.
We've done, everyone we've done has been 2
weeks.
weeks.
Yeah, but this,
since
but
I-
this,
Because it's the first offense.
this is the second offense now.
So he did get a visit that I'm sure was a little bit startling.
I'm sure it was. There were two of them.
Okay.
At the same time, I don't think 2 weeks is enough. I think it has to be at least through the end of the main tennis season.
I was gonna make the recommendation of 6 months.
Yeah, do we have anything that says what a second offense?
I don't,
No, the only person I know of, and I can say this because he hasn't lived very long, was Jeff Rasmussen. Andy knows.
and how long?
That was my first CDD
I
board
don't
meeting.
I don't
attended as a
remember how
resident.
long, but I know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, who was threatening people, by the way, if I recall?
And engraving his name in chairs.
Hmm,
I
That's
didn't know
what I
that
remember.
part.
30 days?
I don't think it's
I
nearly
was
enough.
thinking 30 days.
I was thinking 6 months. If it's a matter of the tennis team not wanting to work with him and play tennis with him, I think, I don't know.
So if you're gonna suspend him, are you gonna give him back his money?
I know, I thought about that too, and just, do
For the
we,
tennis?
do we,
No, for the
for this,
the
for his
privilege of
assessments?
using the club.
No.
Okay, good. We don't have to.
I believe there's specific
I think 6
language
months
in
is too
here.
much as well.
I think
Okay.
60 days,
I was thinking 3,
3 months?
3 months. That's kind of what I was thinking.
split, you know, it's kind of split six,
And
7.
let me tell you why, because I mentioned to Greg, what do you think? And his was longer than any of us said, not permanent, but when I said the same thing, and he said, yeah, that's the point, isn't it?
What?
Get somebody's attention.
Get somebody's
I
attention.
think 3 months will get somebody's attention.
You think so?
Oh, I think 3 months would get his attention.
I'm not sure 30 days would.
I don't think 30 days would get
Gets
his
him to the end
attention.
of the tennis season, but
I mean, 2 weeks didn't correct behavior. 30 days is not gonna correct behavior.
Well, 2 weeks got us a year.
hadn't thought about it that way, Rich.
Let me just address what I think was you, Cheryl, who brought up. No user whose privileges have been fully or partially suspended shall, on account of any such restriction or suspension, be entitled to any refund or abatement of amounts due.
Okay, great, thank you.
I knew I'd read that.
Good.
So I'm gonna make a motion that we suspend Henry G. Francisco for, is it 90, we'd say 90 days, wouldn't we?
Whatever your decision.
I'm gonna suggest
Better, if you're thinking 3 months.
90
is
days,
more specific.
effective
Yes.
from receipt of communication from district council.
Okay.
So mine is 90 days.
Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
Okay.
Discussion? I just got to discussion point.
I don't think it's enough, but it's at least a start. I'm just saying out loud that I just don't think it's enough.
Let me,
You don't think a police visit got his attention?
I think, yeah, it got his attention, but is it gonna keep his attention for 90 days?
let me just confirm, it was 90 days from the date of the letter?
Yes.
Yeah, that's not what you, I think you said the date he receives it, so
I
date
thought-
of letter.
I think date of letter.
Oh,
We can't-
thank you
we
for
can't
that. You're
control
right, date of the
receipt. I
letter.
thought-
Okay.
Yeah,
that's
date of the
why I asked.
letter,
Yeah.
right, thank you.
I'm
So
not gonna
then-
go with 90 days, I think
Okay,
I think it's enough to say, wow, pay attention.
okay,
And you know what, if it happens again, it might be permanent, so
Can do one.
yes, we'll see.
okay.
I just, we also have to be consistent. So I think this will set a precedent for everybody else. Because, you can't give someone else 15 days if they've already gotten 14 days. So
Right,
we have,
right.
we have to be careful about that too. So it's gotta be, 2 weeks, 90 days, and then a year or whatever.
Sure,
So
yes.
other people's behavior might be a little bit different, so you don't want to give somebody a 6-month suspension because,
Well, I think it depends on the circumstances.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean,
Threatening
this was
people as
threatening
opposed to not
people.
paying your bill.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
Right.
This one took it to.
when it's threatening,
Yeah.
when it's threatening and it's versus abusive, I mean, it's a fine, we started, at some point, we start splitting that a little
This,
too much.
this required the police.
No,
Yeah, so,
well,
but I agree
yeah.
with you. I mean, I don't think it should go from automatically 2 weeks to 90 days for everybody. I think it's dependent upon the circumstances. That would be like grounding all your children
Yeah.
at the same time.
We just need to be
for-
careful, we just need to be
yeah,
careful.
Somebody doing
Yeah.
one thing.
Yeah, you're right, Rich. Okay.
No, I agree,
So that's
though.
my motion is 90 days from the date of the letter, and you seconded it, right?
Right, we've had discussion,
So
so
can I call it?
Well,
Discussion.
to Richard's point about consistency, is our policy going to be, I'm concerned about leaving it up to us to judge how offensive it was.
That's what I mean.
But this
You know,
was a
You're
threat,
going from 2 weeks
that's what moved it.
to
It's
90
a
days.
billing issue and you're suspended for
Yeah.
2 weeks and then you have another billing issue, I would suspend them again for another 2 weeks.
Correct.
I mean, this is a whole different
Oh, I
category.
appreciate
Yeah.
that.
People were afraid to tell him, people quit the tennis team because they were afraid of his behavior.
I don't have a problem
Yeah. I'm
with
just, yeah.
the length. What I'm questioning is, I don't think we should be arbitrary about deciding degree. A billing issue is different from
Mhm.
behavioral.
Yes.
How are we being arbitrary?
Well, you got a guy who walked up to the privacy officers and screamed at him and told them you work for, was very,
Yeah.
very
Mhm.
antagonistic and threatening. We haven't done anything about that.
Well, my first question on that one would be, unfortunately, to ask the question if we have proof. Is there a video proof? Did somebody else see it? Or is it he said, she said?
I don't know. I
Because
don't know.
I was accused of saying something by a staff member, which I didn't say. This was years ago.
I understand. All I'm asking this board is, do we want any level of consistency as opposed to leaving it up to our arbitrary degree of,
well, we don't have anything in our rules
Well,
that
maybe
I'm
we
aware
should,
of.
maybe one
Maybe
thing we
we
should
could.
consider doing is tracking the suspensions. Because this is gonna be the fourth, just since
Yeah.
last year.
Yeah.
Well, to me, the fact that this is a second offense for the same type of behavior, I don't have a problem with 90 days. I'm gonna
Right,
vote yes.
right.
All I'm questioning is the arbitrariness
That's
of
my
the
concern.
next time.
That's my concern.
So
Not
can we,
the next time for this
we-
person,
so
but the
could,
next
so could we,
occasion.
could
Because
we,
this is happening more
could we,
frequently.
it is, could
It is.
we add this as an agenda item, maybe
The
for the
workshop.
workshop?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
No, we
Workshop
can't
item
implement
number
it either.
Yeah, the other thing you
Okay,
can do
well,
is
why don't we-
modify.
You can, I'm having surgery.
Well, we can, oh, okay.
I just don't know if I can sit even from home for 4 or
Well,
5 hours.
why don't we defer it?
Yeah, we can refer.
No,
If we're gonna approve this one, we can make sure that we say in the motion, due to a threat, a physical threat that occurred, rather than a billing issue. At least then we
Is
have
council
something
okay
on
with
record.
Well, we've already said it on the record.
Okay.
Okay, we're
We've
good.
had a
No
good
worries.
discussion.
All right, so I'm gonna
Okay.
amend my emotion.
No, we don't need to.
I don't need to. Oh,
Unless you want.
okay. No, I'm just trying to
No,
behave.
I think your motion is sufficient. We've had an adequate discussion on the record as to
Okay.
the reasons why the
Fair
board is proposing the decision that you're making. I don't know how you're gonna vote. And, in terms of coming up with categories, that's something you can discuss at a different date if you want.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I think fair enough categories is a good idea, actually. Okay, so I'm gonna call it then. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
We'll take care of the letter.
Okay,
Thank
thank you. Okay.
Jill, I probably already have it, if I don't have his contact information.
Yep, will do.
Thank you.
And if we need to take any action, I guess, on the gate incident, which I don't know anything about, but, okay, moving on then to item 6E, which is regarding the fence. We were gonna talk, I think, next steps, with respect to, now that we know Ajax, what should we do with the fence?
Yeah, so what I'd like to recommend with the fence is that I go to the planning commission, get on their agenda and ask for a variance for our front fence on Laurel Road. And then in the meantime, Keith, you can work with the vendor and we can kind of do the measurement to determine how much linear footage we need.
You'll need to actually submit something to the planning commission.
Yeah, I will.
You have to
Okay.
speak with Rick.
Rick Shupker?
Yeah.
Okay, all right, I'll get with Rick and get that
Thank
coordinated.
you so much for doing that.
Uh-huh.
That's really
Maybe
awesome.
you could talk to Rick about, does this make sense to go before them, or, do you know the issue, Andy? Ajax
don't.
got a full variance without even a question to do a perimeter fence around their plant with no breaks at all. And so the fact that we would have just that little front area and they're requiring a break, the question was, should we just get the proposal for the fence without a break? And
Ask.
so I would just ask Rick that question. I mean, can he just call somebody and say, no? No?
I don't know.
Let me ask him.
I would ask the
Yeah.
question
I'll-
first,
I'll
but
reach
I
out
would
to
get a
Rick.
proposal for the fence to be a continuous fence from the points that you guys identified.
So are you voting today to actually put the fence in?
No, I'm voting for a proposal to
Okay.
see how much this will cost, because I no longer remember.
Yeah.
45
27
grand.
times.
Right.
See, I've heard 27, I've heard
I've
45,
heard
and that's what I keep.
27, I haven't heard 45, but okay.
I'm making it
I
up.
thought 45 was to bring it down to the gatehouse.
Oh, is that what that was?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm also trying
Well, that was with the decorative.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha. Let me reach out to Rick. I'll gather the information, see what Rick and everybody has to say, and I'll bring back a summary. How does that sound?
And then also when we actually decide on what we're doing, if we can have the map of the community so I can see it.
Yep.
Because you keep looking at the 19, I'm not on the golf course. I don't know where it is. So I was like.
Come see me, Rich, I'll take you out there.
If you turn right going out of the
Yeah,
community,
sure.
it's everything down to the wetlands.
Yep,
But I know that, but I'm saying.
Come see me, Rich, I'll take you out there.
All right.
Just come on.
so, okay.
I'll
Thank
dust
you.
I'll dust my clubs off.
So are we good with that one?
Yep.
Okay, cool. There's nothing else else we need to take care of. All right.
Okay, all right, great. So the next item on the agenda is 6F. That's discussion of setting up a bocce work group. So I think I remember back to 8:30.
Cindy was gonna say that.
Cindy was,
Yes,
so we were gonna
do an ad, and I'm gonna get you the verbiage.
Yeah, so does Andy, did
What are
we
we
tell
doing?
Andy? Yeah.
So what we decided to do was establish a work group for the possible bocce courts out in the back to see what the feedback is from the community. So we'll do similar to what we did with the dog park. And I'll lead the work group and
So is this a CDD
Work group.
work group. It'll be a limited amount of time.
But they're gonna be making recommendations to the board?
I would say fact finding.
Fact finding.
I'm just obviously trying to figure out sunshine issues, whether we're
Right.
advertising their meetings and things along those lines.
Did you have to advertise the dog park meetings or not?
No, and I think I was gonna pull the charter we did for the dog park, which it was like, meet over the next 3 months.
Yeah, it's a
And
certain number of
as
times,
many
yeah.
times as, what do you need to meet over the next 3 months? Your work group to provide information.
So
to
here's the thing, if you're gonna make recommendations, even if that's narrowing options,
Mhm.
then you have to meet in sunshine. If all you're gonna do is gather up a whole bunch of information, throw it on the table to the CD board and say, do with it as you please, that is fact finding.
And I think it's,
Well, it's a little different than a dog park then,
it is a
I don't
little,
think
yeah,
you're
the dog
making a
park was.
recommendation.
No, I think they can come back and say, we went through, we talked to 300 people, 85 people wanted a permanent, 72 people don't want this, or, the board, we, as a group, we decided, and say, and just provide
So
us the
fact-
answers to all of
I
it.
just-
So instead of coming down to say, well,
And we,
just short of, well, based upon all of this, we think we should do, just don't say that.
and you can't narrow options, that's
Right.
actually making a recommendation.
Okay, so we can say these are,
We talked, like Rich
Yeah.
said, I'm okay with that, we talked to 100 people.
okay,
75 said we want it to be this way, 25 said we want it to be that way.
go
There you
for it.
go, guys,
Okay.
decide whatever you want.
Okay,
Okay, good. Oh, good.
all
But
right.
not that, therefore, we recommend.
No,
Yeah,
no, it would not be
yeah, just
that.
stop at that point.
It would
yes.
not be that. Yeah, it
Or
would
we
be,
didn't even talk further about this one, because 75 people didn't seem to want it, and then we can't do that kind of stuff.
you can't do that kind of stuff. Okay, okay.
Okay, so,
And
yeah.
people should also know what the cost is involved.
It depends on what we're doing too, I mean.
This one is
And
this
they
the
did the
one?
fact
Which
finding.
one
It's
is?
40
It's, yeah,
3,000 for 2 courts, and it was about 80,000 for
Right.
4.
right.
Yeah, but that's also doesn't count the electrical, the landscaping, the irrigation
Plus.
work, and
No
all of the
irrigation.
things that happen along the way. So there's always some,
I would get, if you're gonna do it, you can just, because the cost is gonna be a question, an approximate cost of X for 2 courts.
Right.
That's all fact finding, yeah.
That's, yes, that,
Yeah.
that is basically what we had done.
Yeah.
With the
With the dog.
dog park, we basically said.
And if it helps you, in connection with, I believe in connection with our contract with Club Insights, we have the ability to do a few other smaller surveys.
Okay.
So would that get us into trouble with, if it was asking factual questions in a survey? No. Okay.
Here, I have a dog park ad hoc task force charter, which I can send you.
I would love that, thank
And you
you.
can use this.
Cool. Awesome. All right, are we botching out?
We're botching out.
Then we're
We
on,
have to- We're okay, we don't have to vote on that? We're
No,
good with me
because
doing it? Okay,
correct, because it's
Okay.
not, it's only direction. Yeah.
okay.
Or not even that. 6G, which is discussion of the River Club roof RFP.
okay, so I think we really need to get this RFP out. Obviously, we do not have to decide if we want to go forward with the roof, but got an email from a roofer today, the leak in the fitness center is in the third valley that they needed to repair in the last year. So you're aware that there are 11 other valleys, all of different size, but they're all becoming an issue. So we have the issues with the valleys and the flat roofs. We've already spent $16,000 repairing this roof. We're probably gonna spend another $8,000 or $5,000 to $8,000 repairing that valley. This is not getting any younger. As I said in the last meeting, roof tiles are warranted for 35 to 50 years. The membrane underneath it is only warranted to 20. So there is no 35-year roof in Florida.
What do we expect
350,
for,
Yeah.
okay. Yeah.
I-
we
But
have
it's
to-
not due
Yeah.
for 9 years.
but that's, I don't know how it got that way because the roof is from
But that's
2000.
what it is.
I know.
That's what, and I guess my personal feeling, and maybe it's just a procedural issue on my part, is I don't want an RFP going out without me having seen it.
Ditto.
I feel like I want to see it.
Well, I can tell you this, is that, we pretty much had it ready to go, because Rich, had reached out to us a month or so ago, and expressed that there was some urgency, so we did not prepare the scope.
Right.
Rich and I believe it was Tim Carr prepared the scope.
And we asked Hampton, and Hampton had no information.
We prepared the RFP quote document, and I can certainly provide that to you for the next meeting if you want.
But the
Here's the
problem is
problem
we
that I
can't
have, though.
vote for a month now. If we don't get this moving today, we can't vote on it for another month.
I'm still kind of out, this person's out on whether or not we should be doing this, so I'm just gonna say.
You don't have to accept any offers, but if we don't get this thing moving, and also Belinda, and I've also been talking to Belinda, it appears that our insurance does not cover deterioration or degradation of the roof.
Right.
So if we do have leaks and problems from a hurricane, we're not covered.
And I mean, I have not.
And I did mention to her, I want to see, I think we should have our insurance agent come here and talk to us as well, so we should have that.
I haven't looked at this spec that you guys prepared in any detail, but I don't know whether, I certainly don't know anything about roofs. I don't know if it's something that we need a structural engineer to help us prepare the spec. I mean, I had another district
Wait.
where we had exactly that.
Yes, okay, Belinda wants to say something.
Okay, so yes, Rich is correct. I did send him some information that we did receive from Aegis. I do recommend that maybe they attend the next workshop. I can put them on the
Okay.
agenda so that
Great.
they can answer any questions that anybody might have. I do know that, there are some roofing consulting companies that you can hire to come out and review the roof and give you a recommendation. And they can also prepare a scope of work.
Perfect.
This is outside of my realm because this pertains to the river club, but this is what I would recommend.
Yeah, I mean, we did have another CDD in Hillsborough County. They have an amenities facility. They hired a structural engineer that drew the spec. She actually helped them through the RFP process as well. It was maybe a little bit more complicated than this one is, but that is what they did.
Yeah, I would like to have somebody who's got true roofing knowledge. No disrespect to you and Tim,
No,
but you guys are not roofing
No,
structural
No,
engineers.
I am not a roofer.
And I don't think you guys should be building out the scope.
I also want to understand where the money's going to come from. I know there's money there, but, you
Not
know,
all of it.
But
well,
Jill,
no, not all of it, and
but
there's
Jill-
timing issues.
But Jill, if we don't have a roof and this place gets destroyed, you're gonna have a lot more money because you're not gonna get covered. And I don't think, and also, I just want to.
Wait a minute, I want to understand though, I mean, is this really, you
We're
know,
not gonna get any coverage. Belinda?
And that's what I want to, that's what I want to have a guy to come in to talk to us.
I guess
I'm not the insurance expert. I can only answer to what I know based on what I understand. But I would prefer for that question to be answered by Aegis, not by me.
I agree, so
So-
can we have you just come to our next meeting, or at least be on the phone for our
Yeah,
next
that's
meeting?
what I asked. for.
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll set up, a Teams meeting for the workshop and we can have representatives from Aegis on the phone.
Perfect. That
So-
would help me a lot.
Yeah, because I'm trying to cover all the bases, but I'm saying, but doing an RFP doesn't preclude us from getting bids in.
We do need a good spec. And as I said, I know you and Tim prepared one, I just haven't looked at it.
You know, maybe that the other thing then that you can work on in between is the roof consultant.
But the problem,
well, Hampton, I believe Hampton has a roof
no,
consultant.
they had nobody. They said they could possibly recommend somebody, we could find somebody we could recommend, but they don't have it.
Belinda, do you have someone?
No, but not on staff, but I think what they have is they can recommend
Right.
people to do the consulting work. They don't have a roofing expert
Rick
on
might,
staff.
I mean, I can tell you the one we used at the CDD in Hillsborough, I would not recommend.
Yeah.
So-
I am just, okay, here's my biggest fear. There are two of them. One is I do not believe our insurance will cover us. And I also don't think we have mold and fungus coverage. So if we start having leaks and more issues, we're just putting Band-Aids on things, and then we could start growing mold, which is a whole other issue. And then also, if we start having more leaks, we're gonna be closing areas down, we're gonna be repairing things on an ad hoc basis, here or there and everywhere. And if there is a hurricane, and let's say it doesn't even affect us, when we actually do the roof, the prices are gonna be so much higher, because right now there's a 15% discount on concrete barrel tiles. So if you're looking at doing this next year, I'm not gonna get it
I
done.
understand what you're saying, but I still think we need a roof consultant.
Yes, 100%. I would never vote for this
The policy
RFP.
declaration doesn't exclude 100% mold coverage, so I don't wanna say that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I want to hear it from, that's what I'm saying, I want to hear from you
I don't
guys.
wanna really go into that realm unless we actually have our insurance experts on the line. So
Understood.
that they
we
can
can make
actually
judgments.
provide you with the exact coverage that you do or don't have. So I really don't wanna do that, like, I don't wanna say that, in reviewing what I did see in the declaration, there is coverage for mold, but it all really depends on what is stated in the declaration. And I'm not an insurance
Yeah.
expert to tell you, whether or not if you have an existing leak, whether or not it will cover, or whether or not it won't. So I think the best, we're not really far off. The best case scenario is to have Aegis on the phone or via Teams, or maybe they can even come to the meeting to just give the board some advice on this whole issue.
Sure.
Perfect.
So will we look at that for next workshop? Or the
Yeah.
meeting? Yeah.
Okay,
Yes,
perfect.
what I'll do is I'll reach out to both Andy Jimenez and Christina so that they can attend. And then I'll also look into whatever Hampton has, because Hampton also has additional coverage that we need to review as well.
So even if we find even if I find a roofing contract, a roofing engineer or whatever, we're not gonna be able to vote on them until a month from now. They then have to do their work, then we have to vote on what they provide, which is a month after that. So you're 3 months out before you even send it out.
Could be.
And we
But we're
didn't have,
talking $350,000.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I know that, but
Get rid of it.
this,
Have
I've
we
been
had
told-
a roofing inspector tell us we need a new roof?
Or we just had Westfall tell us we need a new roof.
well, the leaks tell you need a new roof.
No, they
No, the
don't.
leaks say we've got leaks.
The membranes only last 20 to 25 years. It's been 23. So we're pushing.
But the last time we had a leak, that I remember, it wasn't the membrane, it was some other thing that Westfall repaired that got,
It was the membranes in the valley, it was the tube, and then the
there was
leak,
flashing
and
or
then
something.
and then the flat roof.
Right.
The flat roof was
So
failed.
I can tell you right now for today, I'm not prepared to vote on an RFP.
Me
I
either.
need to talk to, I need to hear
Okay.
from Aegis and see what's going on there. And then if you could see if you could find a roof consultant with Rick.
We're
that would be
working on it.
helpful.
Andy, how much time did it take you to put
Rick
the
must
stuff together, to work together for the RFP?
Carla from my office did it.
Okay.
I could look, I don't know off the top of my head,
Okay.
a few hours. We have
It was a few hours for billing.
RFPs we've
Okay.
used, but yes,
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay,
All right, do you, then we'll put that on the workshop agenda. Okay.
yeah.
Well, it's nothing, I'll try to find, but
Well,
that's,
Aegis though.
Aegis, yes, which is what I want, because I looked at it, I wasn't sure, and that's why I asked Belinda to reach,
I
put
don't
that on
understand
the
where it's
agenda.
coming from, insurance is.
Yeah. It's dicey.
Okay.
I'd get a roof inspection from maybe Rick Schapper, who's got to know somebody.
Yeah. Probably.
All right, so that takes care of the 4 items that we
yeah,
added. Okay, and so then the next item on the agenda is behind tab 3. It's the consideration of minutes of the Board of Supervisors meeting held on February 23, 2026. Are there any comments on the minutes?
I didn't have any. They look good.
Okay. Do you want me to wait a minute?
No.
Okay. So,
I have reviewed them.
okay. Well, if it's dire, I'm sure we can always
There
go back.
wasn't anything that would change.
I didn't see anything.
Okay, so I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the minutes of the February 23, 2026 meeting of the Board of Supervisors. All in favor? Aye. And then we move on to consent items, acceptance of the social and dining advisory committee meeting minutes of December 10, 2025. They're behind tab 4. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept those minutes as presented.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, then moving on to supervisor requests or comments. Are there any?
I have just one comment to make.
Okay.
And this is in regard to the fitness center and the fitness studio and everything. I really truly have been working diligently with Greg and Matt, but Matt is just so overwhelmed right now with everything that he has going on that some of the things unfortunately have taken a back seat. And I agree that the full garbage cans and everything were unacceptable and the toilet not working in the ladies' room, but that's not Matt's issue. It's a maintenance issue. But
The garbage can shouldn't be Matt's issue either.
well, but if Greg is gonna give him oversight, he's gotta be able to manage that. We also have an issue, and I'm working with Matt on this as well with our instructors, because this is a cost savings and determining a threshold and everything for the number of people in a class before we cancel the class. So we're working on it. It's just a matter of finding time in Matt's calendar to start addressing these issues. So we know they're there, and we'll talk about it a little bit more in the workshop next time. But I just wanted to let you know, it's not like I've been neglecting it. It's just there's been a lot on Matt's plate.
Never thought you were neglecting.
But Matt should be overseeing in the gym. I'm not quite even sure, but we've got a maintenance manager and somebody underneath them. That's, making sure equipment is working should be under maintenance. Making sure the garbage can is empty should be under maintenance. Now, granted, if the garbage can fills up at 8 o'clock at night, then
Why isn't the garbage can emptying part of the cleaning?
It should be, and I think what happened in this case is I think somebody just got overzealous with the Santa wipes on the equipment when I took a look at it, but that's a conversation for another day. But yes, the cleaning crew should be doing it. Does Raymond have time to go in there and do it? I don't know, but we're gonna be looking into it.
and there's also Mike.
And there's also Mike.
And you don't have to go in there 17 times a day, but if you can go in.
But here's my point. If those things are full, so we've also got an issue where now the instructors think that they can go in there and do their private lessons, and the fitness center is getting overwhelmed again. And you've got people who are doing individual instruction that aren't residents there, and that's overwhelmed as well. My point being is I think there's things that also our fitness instructors can do to help maintain that facility. If, because they asked for 50% pay if one of their classes got canceled, right? So if that's the case, then I don't see any reason why they can't come in here for their hour that they were gonna teach, but it got canceled, and make sure things are cleaned up and tidied up and working correctly in the fitness center as well, right? So those are the types of things we're looking at. My point being, the reason I'm bringing it up is because it seems to have been a little bit of an issue, and I wanted to let you know we're working on it.
Yeah, so maybe we can discuss it at the workshop.
Yeah.
Well, I think there's also the issue of budget.
Yes.
I personally think we need at least part-time cleaning staff. A person or maybe a partial person during the day. I think that's part of the issue because the club gets so much use.
Because the club's
Yeah,
doing
but
so
we can
much use,
discuss
yes.
it if it's okay. I'll
So I
put it
just
on the
wanted to put out
workshop.
that, I got actually, yes,
Okay.
that'd be
All
fabulous,
right.
thank you.
Great, okay.
All right, those are my comments.
I have one other quick comment, in case you're wondering, we are still delaying the replacement of the plants on Laurel Road and the sod because we have to wait till rainy season, and believe it or not, it is not rainy season.
Yeah, although the golf course does look fabulous
This is
now.
the first time it's rained in months.
It's been nice, but the minute we plant, it's gonna stop, so I'm waiting.
Yeah, and just a quick reminder that you may get an email from either Nancy Spakowski or Bob Rufato regarding just a little bit more information on the rough cost estimates. So, and it is information. It's no recommendation of any kind. It's purely information to discuss. So expect that. That's all I have. Did did you have anything? Okay, all right, I'm gonna make a motion, we adjourn at 12:45 PM.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.